Welcome to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode 214. I am Dario, and I'm here with Christ. What's up?
Christ, Ian.
Yes.
No one can seem to put that puzzle together. They're like, what? What's going on here?
Oh, really? They just see the Christ and they automatically go, what's he doing?
Or whatever. I don't know.
Is he
what's happening? Why is he a black screen?
Oh, and he's a black screen.
My Facebook profile. For whatever reason, though,
good.
I don't even know why. Everything else is the Exploding Heads logo picture or my picture for anything other social media aspects like Instagram or Threads. Have you tried Threads? The meta version of Twitter?
No, I'm not going to try Threads because I don't want to be on social media that I'm on now. I certainly don't want to add to it. So
I get it, but keep it in the family.
That's what I want to do.
I think it's already bombing though. I heard out of the gate, it was like everybody's like, "Ooh, something new," and then again, I haven't read any in-depth article on it. I think it was literally like, within the first week or two, X many people already left Threads.
Oh, really? I heard it was just like Twitter, like the interface and everything.
It was a carbon copy. Like, Twitter was going to sue, kind of like no differently than Apple sued Samsung way back when for essentially stealing the design of their phone. Like, I mean, it was a carbon copy, but.
Well, I'm not interested in Threads. I can tell you that. This is what I want to happen. Terror Threads, yeah.
Fuck them too.
I don't even want to talk about any t-shirts at this point.
Yeah.
Everything's so sky high. All the stores, even the ones I like, it's just so much now. It's just utterly ridiculous. Well, they are. Come on, man. $30-something to get a shirt. Anyway, the Threads thing, like I said, no interest. I don't have time to do what I do now. And here's what's really irks me. The Facebook could be the best one if they just took something so simple. I wish I could write them and say, just do this. It'll make it so much easier for people, well, at least for me. But, I'm sure other people might follow suit. Just because what I do, I should say, on Twitter, the best thing about Twitter is those words. You can omit any words you want so you never have to see them. So I have a list of words about 30 to 40 words long, so I don't have to see any type of nonsense I don't want to see. Now, if I could just do that on Facebook, it would be grand. I would never have to see it. So anytime a new hot topic comes around, boom, gone. Like right now, it'll be Barbie. I don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? I never want to hear that word again, I don't think, just because of the last 2 days. Seriously. And here's the funny thing. I'm not even a person that goes on the... What do you call it? Like, I'm not even BSing. I'm going to go on Facebook.
Why does it surprise you so much with Barbie? I'm surprised, but like, again, it's on my feed too, but I don't really care. It's a super popular toy that's been around for decades that got turned into a movie that has proven to be very popular and has done very well. But you do seem to be a little bit like extra annoyed by it.
Because people are fighting about it.
Oh, about the
wokeness of it or whatever. It's become a controversy. I don't even know. This is what I'm saying. I'm not going to find out. But look, let me just go into my Facebook and show you what happens when I
thought you had a hate on for the movies. Sorry.
No, I couldn't care less. I'm not. If I want to see the movie, maybe one day. Well, I don't. Whatever. I don't know anything about it. So no, but here's what. Okay, so you go on to Facebook. Okay, now the first thing that happens is you just log on. Boom, there you go. Okay, I keep it on the group feed. Cut to the Chase just happens to be the one that's at the top. Lacey posted something about 12 days of Shasmus.
Already?
I don't know. Let's see what it says.
It's August.
Would you like? By the way, I'm going to go off on something. Let's talk about this.
Oh, what now?
Okay. Shit. I am going to air a grievance about this Halloween thing now. Because, and you've heard me say this before.
What Halloween thing? Like the 100 Days to Halloween?
Hold on. Let me hear. Is that what it is? 100 Days of Halloween?
I don't know. I saw a post on it too.
Okay, let me just say this. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say nothing can be excluded from this. It doesn't matter how much I like something. I am not going to be a hypocrite. Two wrongs don't make a right. If you're going to complain about Christmas stuff coming around, which I would complain about it, you know what I'm saying? About Christmas stuff coming around in September and being annoying and whatever, as early as it comes. People are seeing Christmas stuff before Halloween stuff for a while, it seemed. Okay. And you got to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 months of Christmas nonsense. And it starts way too early and you gripe about it. And a lot of people do, including myself. I don't like this because, but I am not therefore going to turn around and start saying, let's start having Halloween stuff in the stores in July. And let's start talking Halloween in July. It's too early. Just it's annoying for Christmas. It's equally annoying for just because I happen to like Halloween.
Oh, it's annoying for everything.
Make it. Well, this is what I'm saying. Be fair. Two wrongs don't make a right. I don't want to hear. Now I understand September is fair. September is a fair time,
like harvesty
for me.
Like September makes sense
to a degree. It makes sense. Me, this is where I'm different than other people because I hold Halloween so sacred. I only give it those 31 days. To me, October equals Halloween. Just name the month Halloween, okay? And then I don't want to do anything before October or after October. I want the entire month of October to be Halloween, and I don't put up a decoration. I don't watch a movie that has to do with Halloween until October 1st. Now, if other people can't wait to get excited, they want to do it in September, by all means, go ahead. I'm not mad about that. September's one thing. July, this is utterly ridiculous.
My dad would have lost his mind. My dad put out Halloween things, and I've said on the show, when I don't want to say no one was doing it because that would be pompous, but when it would be like you get one house every 3 streets that would actually do more than just put a jack-o'-lantern out. And that was our house, like back in the day. Like now every second house does it. If maybe even more now, it seems, or at least put something out. And every second house seems to do it up to the nines, seemingly anyway. But where I'm going with it is never in my dad's mindset would October 1st come into play as the start date for that. He would put it out October 30th. And it would come down October 31st after the kids were done, or November 1st at the latest. That was Halloween. That's how it was. That's how I think of it. Even as a horror fan, I like watching
Christmas,
but I watch Christmas. Same thing. December 1st. God forbid he would never. December 1st, he wouldn't do that at all. He would. Now Christmas though, it would be maybe the 10th to the 15th. I'm going by memory now.
Okay,
in that frame, maybe the 10th to the 15th, but they would step up. Now, people keep them up to the end of January now. He would keep them up to January 7th because of January 16th, the European Christmas and
well, it's a Catholic thing. It's a what do you call it? It's Italian. Yeah. Okay. Something I forgot what it is.
I forgot too.
Whatever it is, I grew up with it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So January 7th, they came down immediately. So like it wasn't even we didn't have them up a full month, that's for sure, at all. So it would probably I'd say that 15th of December would have been more realistic.
Okay.
And
he's consistent though.
And it would never, and then the pool, like God forbid the pool, like May 2-4 weekend would still, he would still be like, that's still a little early for my dad. He would like to do it. He would like to do it 2 weeks into June. That's how my dad operated. And then, the first weekend, like Labor Day weekend or the weekend after, shut it down type thing.
It goes back. It's okay. At least he's consistent. See what I'm saying? He's consistent with the whole thing. He's going to do this late towards the end with Halloween, and he's going to start Christmas somewhat, later than some other people may. That's fine. He's consistent about it. But it's like, if you're going to say, hey, man, it's really getting annoying. Christmas is so commercialized, this and that. Everywhere I look, it's this. I'm already getting sick of it. I have already, yesterday, I saw a meme already of fucking Mariah Carey. It's already begun. See, the people that talk about
Can't
Mariah
you put her
Carey,
in one of your words? Mariah.
Yeah, I would too. 100% I would. The people that talk about Mariah Carey being annoying have become more annoying than her because they talk about it so fucking much. Like, if you
That's
stop
like
giving
everything
it the
politics,
attention,
right? That's
well,
no
right,
different than what we complain about with politics. Shut your fucking mouths. Everybody,
right, you're
every
making it
side.
worse.
You just
Right, every side, yeah. Shut your fuck.
you go on and on and
100%.
on. You're like,
But
at one time I had your thought process to a degree, but I
correct.
didn't have this incessant need to make everybody want to agree with me. And that's why you're
Right.
so fucking annoying. And it doesn't,
Yeah.
again, it doesn't matter. We're not getting into politics. Just saying this from
No,
every,
but
it's just like, fucking shut up. Do us
yeah,
all a
dude.
fucking favor. Not you,
Please,
Dave.
but it doesn't
Not you.
matter. Everything gets turned into nonsense now. Like, for example, here, let's just play along with Dave. Look, let me see what I'm talking about.
Play
Here I
along
go.
with Dave.
Okay, I just put in Facebook. Okay, here the top of the thing. The guy's watching a movie, Hellbender. Okay, cool. Let's see.
Oh, I
The
saw
second
that
thing.
post
Cut to
too
the chase.
yesterday. That's weird.
Is
This
another
morning.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ian Urza. Another thing. Cut to the chase because it was just commented on. Here's a skeleton crew. So far it's groups.
Oh, that fucking skeleton crew thing.
Okay.
That skeleton crew thing's been on my feed left, right, and center. I put that into my words to ignore.
Oh, this name too.
He's not even paying attention. I'm
Sorry,
kidding.
I was reading this thing.
I know.
Oh,
That was a
no.
perfect timing on my part.
This name too. This is the fourth one down. It's not a group. See,
And I'm
look.
kidding, Alex.
It's the fourth one down. This guy makes his post. Can you see this?
George,
It's
I
this
can't.
name
I see
too.
the name Michael or
Okay.
George. I can't really read.
Well, I don't
what's
care
going
about
on.
the guy that posted it. It says, "Take notes, Occupy Democrats," and it says, "Take notes, Jason Aldean." That's the name everyone's been talking about.
Oh,
Also,
that fucking
I don't
country
know who it
music
is.
thing.
Shh, 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 shh. I don't know who it is, and I don't want to know who it is. I don't even know. See, until you said music, I had no idea who or what he was.
Because
and
it
I want
popped
to
up
keep
on
it
another
this way.
feed. It popped up on
Pops up
mine too.
everywhere. But the thing is, I don't go on the feed. What I'm saying is,
Sorry, Dave.
that's the extent of it. Yeah, I see the group. As soon as something, and
fuck.
literally, as soon as something came up that wasn't a horror group, it was something about some nonsense that I don't care about. What's next? It's a slasher thing. New Year's Eve. Okay, what's next? Fright Rags. There you go. Now here you go. Sam, a person. Let's see what this person says. People who won't put their effort to help support their artist friends, but anytime a musician makes a political statement they disagree with, they'll spend the next few weeks giving them tons of free publicity over social media. Okay, so now
Sounds
another
like you
person
guys could be
about some
best friends.
nonsense. Now this guy comes in. George Romero said, "The real trolls are the ones who love Day of the Dead." I'm one of those trolls. Okay, bottom line is this: if you
It
go
sucks.
it's going to tell me about it. And I've eliminated 70% of the people from it. Everybody sucked. This is what I'm saying. So now it's like, now you keep going by and everything is freaking, Barbie. Barbie, Ben Shapiro. They talk about this guy. I don't even know who Ben Shapiro is, but Barbie, it's controversial. Ben Shapiro destroys Barbie for 43 minutes. Then you go here, the next is Exorcist.
He's some
but I'm telling you,
young political dude.
Pop bass, okay, pop bass. Barbie director Greta Gerwig held her ground against studio executives and refused to cut a scene where Barbie meets an elderly woman as he believed it was unimportant. To me, this is the heart of the movie. If I cut that scene, I don't know why I'm making the movie. I don't have that scene. I don't know what it is or what I've done, and a bunch of people commenting. Bottom line is, there's all kinds of controversy. It's every effing thing. Every next person here, Gregory. Just FYI, if I see you post anything praising Kazavel's QAnon propaganda bullshit movie, you're off my friends list faster than you could say Pizzagate. I don't know what any of those words mean. Okay, Gary, I keep talking about the BS with Miranda Lambert taking a selfie with fans during the show. I don't even know who fucking Miranda Lambert is. Okay, bottom line is, everything that goes outside of a group is nonsense. It's fucking, and everybody keeps talking about Barbie. Some shit's going on. People are getting.
It's your algorithm. You must have brought it to you, because the algorithm doesn't lie, man. Because I got,
I bring it.
I don't know. Mine's Willis Wheeler. Everybody's picture is gone, and it's a wrestling one, and you happen to comment on it, and then it's Dario Z, a Fish Summer Tour post, and then it's the Beth. Giovanni, the best movie that comes to mind when you see Rick Moranis, one of those, and then a post by Lacey, "Till Death Do Us Part," Like, so far, so good. A guy holding a big
Nice.
fish, not the band.
Eh?
Rue Morgue.
Yeah. Right
I don't
on.
know. My algorithm seems to be working. I'm not going to say. And then I got my 100 Days to Halloween. Fuck it. That's the Myers house, one of those Halloween groups, of course. Then some hearing aid
So,
stuff because, of course, the cookies is working at full force. Then a thing for Sound of Freedom, a Gary Hill post about banging some chicken Alfredo.
see, I get a Gary Hill post about something I don't know what he's even talking about. So that's even funnier. You're talking about food and banging somebody?
There.
Okay.
First Barbie post, it was the one I think you posted. This guy seems to love these political type posts, Dan Gertner. But he talks about Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and then it's a picture of Ben Shapiro with Barbie.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was the same one I saw.
But
so
other than
have
that,
identicals.
yeah, but that came way down. Like, I was scrolling a bit to get to that.
Right.
And most of my stuff's horror, slasher trash. Here we go. Eric Webster and his fucking cats.
Well, I'd rather have cats than Barbie.
Yeah, well,
I don't care about Barbie.
Yeah, that's a joke because I know Eric listens. But it's funny because if you just exit out. Now, some of this stuff is because they're on your friends list and whatever, and maybe if you unfollow whatever, it would come.
I've unfollowed 70% of my people at this point.
It's interesting because my algorithm seems to kick in. I'm not going to say I don't see shit that I don't want to see. Always it pops up at social media, but you can at least guide it to a better place. And I got to tell you,
horror fans.
That poster behind you, I meant to say this last show. That poster behind you, the first time I saw it, I thought it was like a mock-up. I'm like, why does Dave have like a new MJ poster? Looks like he's dunking a basket. Then I realized as I was thinking it that it's Pearl.
It is Pearl. Yeah.
Yeah.
MJ.
I noticed it right away, but it was like that one thing I was going to make a bad joke about it, and I figured I'll save the bad joke for next episode.
There you go.
Which is this episode.
Right. I don't even have an MJ thing on my wall. I do have a Walter Payton, a Wheaties box, and I do have a Super Bowl shuffle Chicago Bears. I don't have, but I'm implementing more stuff in this room. I'm getting more 80s stuff. It isn't just horror. It's more, I'm getting a lot of 80s stuff going on, and I got a good situation with this guy, the collectibles, because I sell things, and he has good stuff at his place. So I'm getting more stuff. I got like an ET freaking Pizza Hut glass from like 83 the other day. It's cool. Just things like that. I found the honey bee. You know that bee, that freaking Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios bee? Yeah. Somebody at a garage sale had a freaking little stuffed one of him. When do you see him? Never. I had to get that guy. I got a Pac-Man ghost hanging up there.
I didn't get that guy.
Well, when do you see him? When do you ever see the freaking honeybee? Ever?
Yeah. You don't. Well, when do I need to see him? I don't know. On the box of fucking Cheerios?
He's not even there anymore. That's what I'm saying. You don't see that guy at all. You certainly don't see a figure.
I think he's on Canadian
that he's
Cheerios.
On the cover of Honey Nut Cheerios.
I think he is.
I'm telling you, there's no soul anymore, man. That's what I'm saying. You don't see cool things like this like we had when we were. There's no fun. You know what I mean? Everything was fun when we were young. Now it's just, here you go. Look at,
my kids my kids have fun. I don't know. I'm looking at Cheerios right now. The bee's fucking on it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Bee's there?
He's still dipping his honey stick into the heart-shaped bowl.
He certainly doesn't have commercials. I can tell you that. We don't see those commercials anymore. Everybody used to have commercials, mascots, cereal mascots. It was so much fun, No soul, there. Man. No soul. Yeah, but those commercials aren't there. There's not even Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
It's so bizarre, though. I know where the route you're heading down.
Oh, I know.
I love that nostalgia route too. But you're saying no soul to essentially something that was corporate from the get-go.
Yeah, but it was still. Hold on now. Everything at the end of the day wants your money. But at least when you watched commercials back in the day, they were fun. They were filled with kids singing, and it was just a different. Now everything's just like. There's no soul in their advertising.
It's so funny. Commercials have gotten better to me because they've actually realized that they can actually do something creative instead of just trying to sell something. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, great. Like we don't have Ring Around the Collar anymore, and we don't see Whisk commercials. And yeah, I'm nostalgic. I remember those and think that they're great. You can go on YouTube and check them out. But I don't really care because I try not to watch commercials if I can avoid it. But when I'm
Well, I
watching
don't
commercials
either.
now, I'm like, wow, that commercial was terrible, or wow, that commercial was actually really well done. There's a new one for Tide right now, actually, where they're using viral videos of kids getting dirty or people getting dirty or messy, wet and whatever,
Uh-huh.
and it will swish pin, and they somehow fit the guy into it because they've got the technology now. They'll say, you need Tide, and whatnot. The dude from Lovesick and he was just in Chippendales, the movie. I forget his name, Indian dude. He's a good
No clue.
actor, funny guy. But anyway, do commercial on that. It's on Tubi. That's why I know, because I did the Tubi 1 minute breaks. It happened to be this commercial over and over again. I go, that's a really well done commercial, new wave
Okay.
commercial. So I I get where you're going, but that's just nostalgia playing and whatever with you.
Come on, look at this.
We're not going to get it because it's probably a combination of music, so it's censoring it out. I can hear some talking,
No.
and then it won't play
What?
because of the way that Zoom does their sound thing again.
Yeah, but I fixed it last time and we just used it yesterday.
That was just people
Uh,
talking. This there must have been something else there because
well, yeah,
I
there's
could hear it
music that comes
initially.
in.
I could hear it initially, but then it suppresses it probably because the music is coming in.
Okay, let me try this with the music. Hold on.
No,
Nothing. What the fuck
I
fucking
told
Zoom?
you. You got to go. You've got to probably. It probably resets itself. You probably have to go to that Zoom preferences and check that sound
No,
off
I
again.
already
But
did. It
uh,
literally says original sound for musicians off. That if it's on, then it's a problem. How about this one? Can you hear this one? Okay.
no,
Damn
no.
it all. Well, I can't even try to show you these cool commercials because this fucking Zoom doesn't want to work. Another time, perhaps. But we used to have, they're fun. It was like, remember that commercial, Tootsie Rolls? The world looks mighty good to me because Tootsie Rolls are all I see.
But again,
Wherever
you're
I
just
go, I think. There's
nostalgia
no
has just
happiness anymore. It isn't just
well.
nostalgia. There's no happiness. There's no fucking joy amongst children singing songs and being happy. There's no, just look at things. Look at a McDonald's from when we were young and they had all that fun kid stuff. Now it's like gray and fucking soulless. There, even the outside of the McDonald's looks bad. Then you go inside the McDonald's, everything is just, there's no bright colors. There's no celebration of life. You just don't see these things anymore. There's no, that's
Uh,
what I'm saying. There's no soul. That's what I'm trying. That's why I say that's the perfect word for it. It's gone.
I get it. I think that's just evolution. I mean, we still have a
But
McDonald's
it's
with
depressing. It's
a
sad.
playground in
Everything's
it down the street, and I mean, it's still right there. But yeah, things have evolved, and you go down, you go to a electronic teller now. For God, I went to not a McDonald's; it was a Freshie in another chain. I don't know if you have them in the states, but then I went up and it was an automated teller. Like literally, the person behind the counter was just making the shit, didn't even talk to us really. And I went and
Mhm.
talk to a computer screen to put my order in. Like
Well, I get
someone
that. That's
tell a
technology.
tell
Fine.
a whatever, but that's to me that's soulless. You're replacing people with a call center order group. To me,
Well, a
that's
bank is
more
yeah, but a bank is soulless to begin with.
no,
There's nothing fun
this was a
about.
food place.
Oh, I thought you said I'm sorry. You said a teller. I was thinking a bank. Okay, I'm
Like a
sorry.
teller, like an automated teller. Like when you go up and you like there's ones that you pick up a phone, you talk to somebody. This one, it was like us talking right now. And I'm like, I would
Uh-huh.
like to get, but I'm live looking at you on a computer saying, I'd like to get the number one, please, with this, that, and whatever. And they're like,
Okay.
okay. And then you tap your card, and then the person behind the counter makes it when it's in the queue to for the next one up to make.
So wait, you're talking about a drive-through for food? That's what you're
No, I'm
getting
talking
at?
about going into a restaurant and ordering this way.
So you went out to like a dinner, you're trying to say, but you had to go to a
No,
teller instead?
no, I'm gonna
I'm not
go.
following.
Maybe I'm just not articulate, Mike, because again,
No, I'm
I've
just an
fallen
idiot.
into this jury duty factor again. I just was editing that piece on the computer recently, and I'm like, oh my god. So no, I walked into a restaurant like a McDonald's and
Okay.
went, and it was an automated teller in the sense of like a screen that you went up to, talked to a person that was on the screen,
Okay.
not just typed in stuff on a computer screen, talked to somebody physically, but they were not physically there. They're like, I'm talking to you right now, and you
Yeah,
are
like a
taking
Zoom
my
call.
order. Yeah,
Okay.
at a fast food
But
place,
why?
because that's
What's
where they're testing it out. And I think that's where they want things to go.
what's to gain though by doing that? How are you
Because you've
saving
got
time
like,
or
I don't know, you've got
anything?
like this one person, you got, instead of like having people one less person you need on the floor, you can take this person takes all the orders, and then one person starts making them, so you don't have to worry about people calling in sick. They can
Man,
have this guy going into a facility, whether sick or whatever, they could be talking to a screen.
that'd be a great job. Just sit there all day and fucking take the orders when the people
I'm
come in,
pretty
not
sure
have to
they'll
make
probably
any
just have
food.
backdrops that you could do at your house. You just log into the system probably, and it'll just say Freshie behind you or McDonald's behind you, and you're just
Man,
sitting at your house doing it.
that'd be a nice job. You just sit there all day long in a
Well,
room
then,
like this, like a Zoom call, and take orders. You don't have to cook anything. You don't have to fucking take anybody's card or money or deal with people like right in front of you.
yeah,
Sign me up. Whoever's got that gig, that's a good ass gig as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
I
Now,
mean, as long as it doesn't slow anything down.
you probably have to go somewhere to do that. You probably have to go to their corporate facility to log in. But I'm assuming, like anything, it's going to just be a matter of time before you're sitting in front of your computer and you have your backdrop. I mean, hell, maybe it is that now. I really didn't dig deep. I'm just saying that, like, to me, that's more soulless than what you're talking about, no colors and stuff. That's just evolution of marketing.
I guess I don't find that soulless because there was no soul there to begin with. Is what I'm getting at. There was no
Well, the
going
interaction
into a
with
restaurant.
people to me would be make way more difference than whether or not you walk into see bright yellow fucking colors at McDonald's.
Yeah, but people suck now. So you know what? I don't. I'd rather not deal with them anyway. But I'd rather go around. It's true. You know what I mean? Everybody's fucking. Just look at Facebook. People are fucking miserable bastards.
But
They
that's
don't want
it.
to
It's
work. They don't want to. You
what's
know?
happened is because I fall into the same trap too. We've got
Yeah.
it at our fingertips now. So instead of just interacting with your fucking 10 friends and family and then seeing some people that you go out and interact with, we're now bombarded with thousands upon thousands of people's opinions that we don't give a fuck about. But we're now like now it's been shoved into our face. So we're at fault here. If you,
I agree.
it's like that. It's just no different. You want to be off it. You want to be off it, but yet well, there's certain aspects of it that I like. But that's exactly it. It's just no different. Politics is probably the only thing that's changed is now people think they've got an audience, which they do, and they can voice any fucking opinion that they've got, and for likes or for people's reaction, and be a troll,
Yep.
be a hero, be whatever the fuck, and that's what we're getting. So it's just shoved down your throat constantly. But probably there's just as many as we probably know. There's great people out there. It's just that
Sure,
this
man.
blurs the reality a lot.
There are great people out there who, at the end of the day, have good hearts, but they're misguided, and it's unfortunate. There's like people that I consider to be good people, but I think that how can I say this without being sounding bad? I don't know if I can. I think that they're what do you call it? I think that a lot of people are I'll just say it, mentally ill. I believe that people like when people are mentally ill and they only see things a certain way and they can't really see it a different way because that's just their mind, their brain. See, I know what that's like myself, but not as far as politics and in religion. But it's like they decide to focus on one thing, and that's going to be their war, and that's going to be their identity, and that's going
Yeah.
to be their
Oh, for sure.
and I find those people, I think that those people are mentally ill. They just decided to focus upon this as a way to get their whatever out. You know what I mean? And I think that because I knew a girl, and I have not spoken to her. I used to at least see her online sometime, and I've known her for years, like IRL. You know what I'm saying? So I used to work with her at the casino. She was a waitress, and she slowly started getting more and more in politics, and real freaking, what do you call it? Real right wingy about all. So anything you think a right winger is going to say, she's gonna say it, and this and that and everything. Not so much the religious part, just all the other stuff. She was into Trump and all this other shit. But she started doing more with the this and that and the other thing, and then I hadn't seen her in a long time, and I had a conversation with her once, and now she knows that I'm not into that right wing shit. So, and I would just always say I don't talk about. I think when COVID came out, something happened. She goes, "You probably got a shot," and I said, "Yeah." I said, "But," and then I told her some other views I had, and anything. Anyway, bottom line is this: one day she had told me that she was hearing.
I'm sorry, I don't want to go down this road either, but goddamn, it pains me that you probably got a shot, was how she worded it, that it's been politicized, that if you got a shot,
Right,
it's like you can't be like a Republican or something like that. Or
stupid.
that's where the mentally ill comes in, and I'm not. That's the only thing I'm going to say, because I'm not even going back down that.
And it goes on both sides, and the people that are all pro.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
I got this.
I mean,
I got the vax. I got an update on it.
Well, we said it earlier in the show. We've said it earlier on other shows when we were talking about it. I don't even give a fuck anymore. To me, it's not gone, but to me, COVID's dead, and I don't feel like even talking about it anymore, because it consumed our lives for the better part of almost 3 years. And so, yeah, it's always going to be here, just like we said day one. And now I'm kind of just like over it, in the sense of like, I don't even like talking about it. Nothing to do political. No, I'm just saying.
Get into COVID.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying in general now. I hear starting to pop up. I'm like, I'm not interested in talking about that anymore. I'll say it to people. Nothing to do political. Just like, yeah, that was our lives. It was shoved down our throat for years. I don't care. We're smarter now than we were then. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
No, that's fair. Well, as far as this person is concerned, that was just one thing. But no. I'm just saying she was getting deep into this, and then she was talking about pedophilia, and just because this one guy got busted, and they all started focusing on this. And now I literally watched the Epstein thing for the first time 3 weeks ago. I knew nothing about the guy,
the filthy rich guy.
Yes, I watched it with my wife, and I said I didn't know a lot about. I was expecting it to be something completely different. I thought he was flying. From the way I heard people talk about it, I thought he was flying all these rich people. I thought he made his money by
like a sex ring
marketing. Yes, like a sex ring.
Not to laugh at that, but based on your thought process is what I'm laughing about. Because I would agree if you didn't know. Yeah, sorry,
because people said all that stuff. But here's the thing: he was friends with Trump, and he was friends with Clinton. So I'm thinking, why did this group over here, because he started out with Trump. So what I'm saying is, how come the right all decided to really focus on pedophilia and Epstein? How come there was this fight when ultimately Epstein didn't seem like he had an allegiance to any political party? He was friends with both of them, and he had those pictures of him with both of them, but they politicized him too. And what happened, and when he died, and anyway, not to get into that conversation.
No, but I agree with you. And again, I'll add one other thing. They cherry pick.
They do.
Trump, no problem he was friends with. Clinton, pedophile. I'm like, you can't, come on, guys. You can't just equal amounts. In fact, they're both there, plus tons of other people, and yet it always seems that anybody, like Democrats will give Clinton the pass, and Republicans will give Trump a pass, and you just can't. Like, neither of them should have a pass. But anyway, side note, I feel like this conversation is making me go down this rabbit hole of shit.
No, forget it. I didn't even. All I was just trying to give examples.
This woman's going crazy.
Right. So all this stuff was going on, and I was like sitting here just shaking my head, saying, "Well, she's another misguided person." But I have friends on both sides of the political coin that I look and I say they're a misguided person. It's not a big deal, but she was really getting more and more into it. And when I worked with her in the past and talked to her in the past, she was never like that. So she just kind of like gradually got more and more. So one day she tells me, and I forgot, I think wish I had the message. She said something to me about she had something involving communications from aliens through her phone or through her radio
Oh no.
or some shit. And then next time I talked to her, I just kind of chalked up. I thought maybe she was using drugs that day because in the past she had used drugs. You know what I mean? Once upon a time. So I was like, okay, I'm not making a big deal. I've been around. I know that people are, So then I talked to her. The next time I talked to her, I didn't see her or hear from her for weeks. And then I saw her again, and she said that she was going to the doctor and for what do you call it? For schizophrenia type shit. So that and now I'm thinking, okay, well, get well and everything else, and best of luck. But it's just
unfriend. Unfollow, unfriend.
But you see what it led to. I think that people are mentally ill.
Yeah.
Right. She had something that was inside of her always. And you know what brought it out was getting involved in all this stuff and letting that be the focus. So I truly believe that a lot of these people that are really into politics with everything they do, there's something wrong there. And I don't mean to say it to be pompous. I'm not trying to, minimize them as human beings. Number one, I pity them.
I'll step in and do that for you. Yeah.
I pity them, but I don't want to sound jerky about it. That's not what I'm trying to do. That's just my honest opinion is that people on both sides right now that are wrapped up in everything, like the fact that they're discussing this guy and James Adrian or whatever his name is, and Barbie and whatever the hell the beef of the week is, which is going to be replaced next week with some other nonsense, and they're all wrapped up in it. Something is wrong with these people.
Yes.
Like mentally wrong. They're off. There's no having opinions is one thing. You and I have opinions. Okay.
Everybody's got an opinion. Fine. Yeah.
Right. But to everything in your life, it revolves around that all the time. Like everything you do, your whole identity is that now. That's not good. That's not a good look. Even if you think you're trying to make a change, this is my belief that they're mentally ill. And I'm going to leave it at that and get off. I don't even know how we got started on that. But if Facebook, if only I could ban all those words on Facebook that I've banned on Twitter,
put it in the suggestion box. Maybe they've got a suggestion box for that.
Hey, Zucky, you can
Zucky.
Yeah,
get on it.
Well, and here's the biggest problem: people complain about being banned on Facebook and stuff that they posted years ago, and you get put on timeout by Facebook, and there's too much censorship and blah blah blah, which is all true. But guess what? They're still there. If it's so fucking bad, don't go on it. Who says you have to be on social media? Cool.
There's one indie filmmaker. God bless this guy, because I feel so bad for him. I guess he did I don't know the ins and outs, so I'm kind of speaking a little out of line here, but I guess there was a fundraiser that went wrong for his next film project, and he was like blacklisted as a scammer. I don't know the ins and outs of it because I wasn't part of this. I just going by his posts and what happened. And he lost a lot of Facebook friends that are not really friends. Come on, buddy. Like,
you talk about Anthony?
No, it's a different person. And so then anyway, but he keeps threatening, I'm going to leave Facebook. I can't believe this. I've been ostracized by the community. But like, it's just no different than like when people get depressed and they feel like they need to spell out, like, and then they don't want help. They say they want help, but then they don't want help, or they don't want the help that you're offering, or they don't want you just to say, hey, I hope everything's good. I don't need that, or whatever. Okay, sorry, I don't know what you need then. I don't know what you want. And where I'm going with it in my roundabout way is just like, if like you're saying, if Facebook is that bad, if it's giving you that much pain, then get the fuck off it. But like any drug, they can't. And that's what it is. It's become a technology drug in a sense. We can take breaks, whatever, but we keep coming back to it.
And it doesn't have to be that way. You can control it, but yes, that is what happens. You know, the videos have become a problem. Like I will say now, when I'm about to go to bed, I scroll for about 15 minutes and just check out videos. Now I'm watching videos that I want to watch still, but it's still like, I'm like, what is this habit now? I used to go to bed and go to fucking bed. Now I have my phone beside me and I'll scroll through some reels. And then when I wake up, sometimes like I try not to go to my phone. That's bad for you. Don't do that anymore. What I'm saying is
from a sleep standpoint.
Correct. It's not good from sleep, and sleeping is important. So
Yeah.
That don't look at screens like that before bedtime, unless you're talking about television screens that are further up, but not something that close to you. That's bad.
No, I know. It's just it's just become a new habit, probably because of the travel. And when I go traveling, I get bored. And then
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah, yeah.
you're just whatever. But even at home, sometimes if Carrie goes to bed or whatever, I might do it. I've noticing this trend, and
Mm.
which again,
Well,
I'm not against, because we feed into it based on the fact that we've made reels, and I'll continue to make reels for the show and to get people
that's
to
different.
uh,
We're doing it for a show. Like,
eh,
I would barely be on Facebook with this account if there wasn't podcast in my life. I would talk to a few people. I got some chats. I got some texts. I got some group messages. Honestly, I'm
eh.
happy with that. If I want to know what's going on in horror, I would just go to a website if need be. You know what I mean? Joe Blow and see what's in the horror news or what. You know what I'm saying? I would just do that. So I don't even need to be on there. There's nothing there for me, honestly. I mean, I try to have fun and post things that I like and whatever, but I don't need it that way. But I really wish they could, because you wouldn't believe the words that I've admitted. You would think something was wrong with me or that I was anti this. I'm not anti any of it. I just don't want to hear about it. It could be something I like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could be something I just don't want to talk about it. So if I block out words that are this, this, and this, I block out things from both sides that could lead to anything controversial, like, LGBTQ. I have no problem with who they have sex with or what your sexual orientation is, but I don't want that in a conversation. I'm tired of hearing about it from
So
both sides.
I just found out
That's all.
through, through my daughter. We're just talking about
I
this right
like it.
before the show. Um, One of her friends, or somebody she knows, is pansexual. I'm like, I'm sorry, because I did the
Peter Pan,
yeah, yeah, frying
Peter
pan,
Pan sexual.
frying pan sexual. Yeah, put a little olive oil in there, and then anyway, I did do the because I can't keep up, and I know it's not, I'm a tolerant person, and I can evolve. It's just is like, what the fuck am I being thrown now? And it's not a me thing, and I'm making this a me
I
thing, but I'm the
know.
one talking. I'm not against anything, but why? Because you know what it
No.
sounds like. I'll tell you. This is why the came out, is because it sounds like it's a rebranding, for lack of a better term, of bisexual. It's just that you don't
I thought it's
care.
been around for years, that
You don't
word.
care about. Well, I know, but I mean, I didn't know what it meant. You just don't care about the sexual
I don't pay
orientation of
attention.
the person you're
What do I
with.
know?
Well, that's exactly it. I don't pay attention to it because it's not me, I
Right.
guess, whatever. So I'm self-absorbed a bit, or self-indulgent, whatever. But so pansexual means you don't care about the sexual orientation of the person you're going to be with. Well, isn't that bisexual? Or bisexual, you
Yeah,
care,
I
you
don't
just sleep
know.
with either. I don't know. I didn't know why there had to be like a rebranding.
I don't know. There always has to be something. It's almost like when it comes to any type of like serious topic, there always has to be something new going on, almost just to keep the pot stirring and just to keep them relevant, just to keep things going. It's just like when, and I don't know how familiar you are with corporate work, but it's like all the jobs I've had, a lot of times you see decisions made from the top, if you will, and you're like, okay, this is the new policy. And then you look at it, and I've said this many times. I go, these people are just making changes to justify their jobs. They're just doing things to make it sound like there's literally no reason to do this, and you're just causing a headache for people. Change for change's sake. And it just justifies high, paying positions, high level employees. It's the same thing here. When you have something going on in any type of movement, and I hate to discredit or make it sound like I'm saying, homosexuality or LG is a movement. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about people that use it for you know, a means for, you know what I'm saying? Just to keep things relevant. We always want to be talking about it. It's just the whole pride thing, which pride for anybody, white, black, gay, straight, anything
And
is yeah, it's troublesome. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. It's troublesome. I don't believe in pride. Pride is something people are glorifying pride when in fact pride is just like greed and lust and envy. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's not being
I believe in those more
prideful
so.
is a bad thing. At least there's something to get out of it. Yeah, I'd rather have money, lots of sex. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What? Who cares if I'm Italian or whatever, or I love horror movies, or I identify with this sports team. Oh, I got Buffalo Pride. Get the fuck out of here! Why? Because I was happen to be born on this plot of dirt. I'm supposed to freaking have pride
Get
of
the
it.
fuck out of here.
I mean, keep your house clean, be a good person, but the word just, I don't know. Just because you were born somewhere, what if you would have been born freaking in China? Well, then all of a sudden you can't be Mr. Canada. Not that you're Mr. Canada, but some people that are Canadian are extremely everything Canada, everything in America. I'm not just singling out Canada. I'm just saying that all that pride stuff, all you're doing is poking the bear. If anybody doesn't like you, they're gonna like you less because they're tired of hearing you in their face. This goes for anybody. So anyway,
Well,
I don't mean to get on that. Let's talk about
no. I helped you get on that too. But how about some upcoming horror films? I know you weren't a big fan of The Nun, but goddamn, even if you're not
whoa. I was a fan of the Nun.
you
I
were
was
a
one of
fan
the
of
few
it.
people.
Oh, it was Watson that wasn't a fan of The Nun.
No
I think
one
you
likes
and I liked it too.
Okay, you and I liked it.
Yeah. I can't
I
remember
wasn't blowing
Brandon's.
it.
I can't again. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like a 7. I think is what I
Yeah,
had.
correct.
7, and it looked beautiful.
Yes,
It was
it
one of
did.
the best looking in the franchise. Well, because the sequel's coming out. And
Yeah.
again, I'm not like shaking in my boots to see it, but I'm going to check it out. Like the Nun 2 comes out in September. We've got ones that
Saw.
I that at the end of July. I guess there's Cobweb, which is I guess already out, and then there's Sympathy for the Devil, which I haven't even heard about, which looks like it has what's his face in it, Nicolas Cage. So
Oh, okay, another one. Wow, that Cage is busy.
he has been fucking busy. And then of
Yeah,
course we
man.
got The Exorcist Believer, October
Yes,
13th.
I'm excited.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad because if anybody's like you're a huge Exorcist fan, I've been hearing a
Yeah,
lot of naysaying lately. It
of
feels
course you
like
are.
it must just because of Halloween Ends, you think?
Well, that's half of the reason is Halloween Ends and people not liking it. The other half is, I guess it was test audiences and it scored really low. But you
Oh,
see,
really? Okay.
this is what makes me excited. When I see it scores low on test audiences, Halloween Ends probably would have scored low on test audiences.
Absolutely.
And I liked it. I really liked it. So I want something, in this instance, I want something different that way. I mean, sometimes I want the same thing over and over and over again. Depends on the type of franchise. The Exorcist isn't the type of franchise that I want to see. It's a different. It isn't Friday the 13th basic, stalk and slash in the woods.
Yeah.
In that case, I want the same thing over and over again. I don't want change. I don't want space. I don't want Manhattan. I want Jason in the woods. I've always said, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want any removal from that. I'm happy with that. Now, The Exorcist, it's a different type of horror. It's a different type of franchise. It's just different. Honestly, you have 1 and you have 3 that anybody regards for anything. Everything else,
Yeah.
right out the window.
Yeah. I mean,
they never were
a few
even
fans of maybe some, like I always get to go. I said one day I was going to dedicate my time. I think I started watching Dominion versus The Beginning because weren't they both part 4 at one point?
Yes.
And Rennie Harlan directed one and some, but they're 2 separate movies. And I said one day I got to dedicate my time to watch both of them back to back. But it's a little taxing.
It can be. I mean,
but
I don't dislike them. They're fine. They're just fine.
They're not the same movie then? They're 2 separate, completely separate movies? Or do they have elements of one of another end? That's what I want to find out.
It's the same actor and everything. It's the same freaking people. It's weird.
Interesting. Yeah,
I've only seen Dominion the one time, and I don't remember anything about it. And I saw The Beginning at the theater, and I bought it. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. So I don't know enough about it to say, but I would watch them again. But The Exorcist, let's have something different.
I'm excited.
Have something, right?
The first thing I read that's different is instead of pea soup, it's minestrone soup this time. It just fires out like minestrone style. Like I thought, wow, beautiful. Because if it was pea soup again, I'd be like, it's too much of this. We're retreading territory here. Come on. So they're
Jeez.
thinking outside the box a bit on that one.
Man, I haven't had minestrone in years. I used to
Yeah.
always have it when I was young. I'd
Would
hear
that joke
about
have
it
been
all
better
the
if it was
time.
chicken noodle? I was going to go chicken noodle, but
Oh,
minestrone, for
well,
whatever reason, felt like it
you've
was a better
awoken
joke.
minestrone. Oh, that's good because now you got me thinking about good old fashioned minestrone. You know, the last time I saw minestrone was at when I went out to an Italian restaurant and it's offered as the soup. Other
Yeah.
than that, when I was a kid, I was hearing it all the time. I even think that Campbell's had minestrone. I don't even know if they do anymore. It
I
might
don't
have fallen out
I
of
don't
favor.
believe they do. They do.
See what I
They
mean?
do. What was that? I don't believe they do.
They do. I
I don't
don't
know.
know. But damn it, The Exorcist, I want it to be different. So if people get mad because it's different, the way Halloween ends is different, I have a feeling that I'm really going to appreciate it. So
Yeah.
I have gotten more excited about This Exorcist, and I'm less excited about the Saw thing.
I'm very
Makes
excited about
sense.
Saw, but I'm also
Too
did
old for
you
this role.
what about this Five Nights at Freddy? Yeah, again, but here it is. If they bring him back, they were trying to do something. That's the best.
I
We were
know.
talking about doing this for Friday the 13th. So yes, he's older, but I'm willing to like turn away from that. And I don't want this de-aging shit or anything. But like we said, we make the joke, put two hats on backwards, make him look way younger. Whatever it is that you, I don't care. I'm willing to forgo that based on what they're trying to do of bringing him back because they know he's the soul. That seems to be the theme of our show, the soul of the series. And instead of doing something new and different, which they will eventually do to keep this series alive, they're going to do this fill in the gap type thought, and I'm all for that. I like that. And yes, he's old, but I'm willing to forgive it because of what they're trying to do here and
I
try to
want to
do
see how he looks.
like a
He
two
looks too
B.
old
Yeah.
to be.
Well, like in between episode or number 2 and number 3. That's what it's happening,
Yeah.
right? That's what they're trying to do.
Between 1 and 2, I think. It's 1.5.
Or 1 and 2. Well, yeah, 1B.
Which is fine, which works. I'm fine as long as they can do it the right way. But the picture that I saw, he doesn't look like he should look. He looks too old in the picture, and they gave him a mustache and a goatee. I'm like, wait a minute, he never looked this way. What are you doing? So I'm a little
and a
it's a little
hat.
concerning.
He has a top hat too.
A top hat,
but it's on backwards, so he looks significantly younger.
Didn't I just say a top hat the last show?
Yeah,
right? We could put a top hat on somebody.
Yeah,
and it would...
you're talking about how that eye when they're doing the new Steelbook 4K, it might as well be a top.
That fucking eye, right? I don't even want to talk about that eye. I don't even want to see it.
What about this one? I guarantee you have no interest in seeing, but it actually looks pretty spooky. Christian wants to see this. It's Five Nights at Freddy.
Oh, I have to go. Francesca has been talking about Five Nights at Freddy's for 10 years. And then she saw the trailer a few weeks ago and she goes, we got to go see it when it comes out. I said, okay. I thought for sure she would say it was too late. They should have done this 5 years ago. But I guess she saw the trailer and she's like, yeah.
Christian, I thought it looked great. And it good. Gateway, I'll take gateway horror or whatever. It looks, I mean, that was all about jump scares.
Well,
so I'm assuming it's going to be jump scares like throughout, but hey,
who knows? It could be like banana splits and be bloody. We don't know.
It's true. It's coming at the same day as Saw, though, so that's going to be difficult.
Wow, it's September because Saw got
no. These ones are in October. Oh, unless the dates changed. So the Nun is in September. The Exorcist is October 13th. Five Nights at Freddy is October 27th, and Saw was October 27th.
Saw's been changed to September 22nd or something now.
Whoa, really?
They're smart. They don't want to go against The Exorcist.
Or Five Nights.
Or Five Nights, maybe.
Because Five Nights, because Saw is probably going to be rated R or more so, and I don't believe Five Nights would be to get that demographic, right?
I don't know about Five Nights. I 100% think Five Nights could be just as R-rated as anything else. I'm going to look it up right now, but
you do that. And Thanksgiving comes out in November. So when people are saying there's nothing, I'm looking forward to all of these. I'm actually looking forward to all of these. I'm not saying, like, again, I agree. This year has not been great. We've all admitted that.
No.
And it's going to be difficult to come up with a top 23 list. So we might have to go back to 10 or whatever, or just go to top 20. Because we did say we'd stop at 20 at one point, and then we just kept doing it as our gimmick. But this may be the year that breaks that. But I'm looking forward to all of these movies. to some
Well, they
degree,
are
one
coming.
degree or another, you know?
Well, the cool thing is this: every year, the second half is better. Usually, the fourth quarter is the best. It just happens to be that way. So we still have that going on. That one movie, Talk to Me, everybody is blowing. They say, believe the hype.
The
You know
one
what it
at
reminds me
Fantasia,
of?
right?
It reminds me of when It Follows was playing at a fest.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying, this is the next great movie you have to see.
But it's not going to come out until probably next year, mainstream wise, right?
No, it's this year. No, it's already been played at the theater.
No, but it's playing at like Fantasia Fest.
No, it's also playing at.
Am I
hold on
okay?
now.
Okay, maybe
Because I got a press release. It's just that I don't live anywhere cool where I could see it. But it was in Chicago. It was in LA. It was in this. There was like all these cities. There was like, I don't know, 20 different cities that it's playing in this week or something like that.
That's they're doing
so
the Blair. That's what they did with Blair Witch. I remember that. There's some buzz and they did
Talk
that.
To me.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Yeah, it's like Jerky
you know
Boys.
Who says that?
Jerky Boys. Come on, talk to me.
Well, that too, but it's from a horror movie too. Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me. No, it's from Creepshow. It's from the guy at the end. Upton Pratt. The Upton Pratt. Anyway,
I didn't get that.
Talk to me. Okay, hour and 34 minutes. Horror thriller. Release date Friday. Now hold on a second here. That's what it says on IMDb. Release date Friday.
Is it this Friday?
It says release date. Hold on, July 28th. The United Arab Emirates. I don't know what the hell that is. United States, July 28th, 2023. Denmark, Mexico, it's in August. Argentina, August. September in Turkey. Yeah, it's going to be out.
All right.
It's going to be out.
Cool.
Actually, let's look it up now. Maybe it's out this week. Talk to me. Okay, let's see here.
I just saw that guy's review from Fantasia, which I should go to. It's in only Montreal. It's only 5 hours away.
Maple Ridge. I could go Friday morning if I wanted to.
There you go.
See, it's coming. So that's the one that I'm excited about. But still, it has been a dog of a year. And how crazy. Now I'm on a show called Jay of the Dead's New Horror Movies. And the new horror movies this year all suck. We have a show where we're talking new horror. Horror has been great for so long. This is the worst year to have something called new horror movies, in my opinion. And here we are with that show because, these guys keep going to see movies that, frankly, I don't want to see. Like movies that I just said, wow, this movie's going to be a dog. I'm not going to see it. And so far, I think I've been right in the movies I have skipped, or they're not really horror. And I'm really, 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 really tired. And you know this, of the damn everything being called a thriller now. There's no straight horror movies anymore. Everything I see is a freaking horror. Everything is on the edge. Everything's a fringe.
They're all pan horror.
Dude, it's got Peter Pan. It's gotten freaking so out of control that I'm just not doing it. Anytime I keep seeing the word, like every movie that's popular, influencer, this, that, there's been like 5-6 movies in a row that people have talked about, and every one of them that came to Shudder or anywhere else and you're reading about them, most of the reviews say it's a thriller. And then if you ask somebody, 80% of the people are going to say it's not a horror movie. Some are going to say that it is, but it's just like, enough already. Where's the straight?
It's been building to that. I think it's been building and building.
Right.
As it's been like fringe. Every year it seems to be a little bit more. Whereas I hate when they go into like the streaming things. At least Netflix still calls things horror. I think Disney Plus, which because it has the add-on, which is Star, they had some great horror films in there, but they will call them, I believe they have the section as thriller. So they're doing that. And there's a few of them that are starting to do that. Just give me fucking horror. I want a dedicated horror column.
This isn't 1992 where they got to call everything freaking psychological thriller.
Stripped to Kill.
Just enough.
That's the reason.
Nothing is a horror.
Do you remember that horror
movie?
Stripped to Kill. It was like one of those ones that were like they direct to video thriller.
It sounds like a porno. Not a porno. It's like a soft
one of those ones where they're trying to. They probably had like I've saw it. It's like they inject a decent amount of nudity, and I believe it was like a knife or scissors, and she's like right in like as if it's like a pole in the dance. the strip joint.
I'm gonna look it up. Strip to
Strip
Kill,
to
1987. K Lens.
There we go. There's a part 2
Crime,
that was direct
drama,
to video.
horror, mystery. I remember this poster well. Remember that poster?
Let me show it to me again. Is it what I was describing? Sort of.
Right?
Yeah. Check Strip to Kill 2. Yeah, that's a knife, like a swordy knife, and she's riding it like it's a strip pole.
This maniac is killing strip. It's a cool thing. It's a stripper.
They would never get that poster would never get okayed in this day and age.
It's too bad too.
It's too
What's wrong with it? Well, it's cool poster.
Well, I say that, but then again, you saw the autopsy of Jane Doe that that's part 2.
Part 2. Yeah.
That's not what I remembered at all. The autopsy of Jane Doe special edition Blu-ray, that was gratuitous and pretty cool. So, maybe I should eat my words, because that one was something I would not expect to see nowadays, and it's cool. What's the matter with
cool? They're cool posters. I don't know. I heard some noise. It's
you look like the sky was falling.
A couple of chihuahuas. Who knows?
A couple of chihuahuas.
That's what I call my wife and daughter when they start going at it.
Oh, they're like Abbott?
They're like tricking.
Or they're like Costello in this movie?
Forgot about that, but you're right. Yeah. But yeah, it's like having 2 chihuahuas up there freaking barking at each other. That's what I say. 2 chihuahuas. So let's do this thing, huh? We got. I want to read all these freaking responses.
We got questions. Yeah, I don't even know if we're gonna get.
They're not questions.
Okay.
Oh, we'll make it quick. We'll do what we can do.
I think we'll do a fango in between them. I like doing the fango in between the movies.
I can dig that. I really like we got all these responses, and I'm really excited to read about this, because I like to know what the patrons want to see us do. You know what I mean? So it's
anal.
I'm curious to know.
The answer is always
to know what the people that are listening would like us to hear.
So, I'm just gonna bark like Costello for the rest of the show.
Go ahead. When you're not saying anything useful, bark.
Yeah. The whole show will
be. So here we go. Ram Man says either cover some animated horror or rank the films in the Hall of Fame. Animated horror. What do you feel about this?
No, I'm not against it. I haven't seen a lot of animated horror.
It doesn't excite me.
No, it
doesn't.
We'd have to. So I think you put that on there. I don't think we could do that. Now the Hall of Fame, I'd rank them. The downfall is I need to list of the Hall of Famers. I think there's someone put a list together at one point, but I don't even think that's been updated.
Only the first 100 shows. Everything after, I'd have to go through and see what made the Hall of Fame.
Well, put it this way: The Thing and Dawn of the Dead will be at the top of that list for me.
But I mean, yeah, makes sense. So we'll figure that out. That will be fun to do and talk about, but that's not a bad idea. I'd rather do segments sometimes like that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One movie
that may be a fall segment.
See, a fall segment.
The Hall of Fame revisited.
There you go. Okay, Chris, aka Scott, your favorite, an all Fangoria show, all Fango all the time.
See?
And here's the best part.
Yeah.
Warren Money.
I know.
Says, I second this. See, he knows, good old Warren.
Warren likes it. Warren likes the Fango.
Someone else wants him.
I don't even know. I don't even think he realized Chris was being facetious. And it's the best. That's what makes it even better. Warren doubled 100%. Down and said, I want that.
See what happens. See, Chris? Yeah. Okay, so now this is Alex. It's Married with Children podcast, but it's Alex. Psycho movies, Dracula movies, Trancers trilogy, Salem's Lot, 90s Dracula and Frankenstein, Hatchet movies. So that's a lot he put out there. Psycho movies we've done.
Yeah, and he joined us last episode on for the for Dracula / Frankenstein film.
We should have him on if we ever do Trancers. That's his freaking thing. He loves
Trancers. See, that's one that you're talking about, pan horror, which is going to be my new term for fringe.
So what does it mean, pan horror?
No, I don't know. I'm just, it doesn't even make sense, because pan just means you don't discriminate between whether or not it's male or female. And I'm trying to
labyrinth.
Yeah, I'm trying to change that into you don't discriminate if it's fringe, if it's on this side or that side of horror.
I'm never going to use the word pan because I'm always gonna think about that kid in that grape. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry.
The kid in that grape.
I'll never get over that kid in that grape.
Yeah. Do you think of Eve and that apple a lot? Like
with Pan?
No. In general, you blame the kid with the grape for everything that happened in Pan's Labyrinth. I'm talking about Eve as in Adam and Eve with the apple.
I don't think you want to get me. I don't think you wanted me to get started on that topic.
Was it a Granny Smith? I've always wanted to know. They just say apple. They never distinguish. I want to know what fucking apple did she have? A Golden Delicious, Red Delicious.
You're right. You're right. What
Macintosh.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, that apple. I don't even get me started.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get you started.
This is what happens. So, yeah. Well, Salem's Lot we've already done. So that's that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Chris A.K. Scott.
Possible remake was supposed to come up this year, but it's a TBA, so that typically means we'll see it next year somewhere.
What remake is?
Salem's Lot.
Oh, another one? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll see. Dracula, maybe we'll do Dracula.
Dead and Loving It
for the next Summer Sausage. Yeah, that too. We'll throw that one in there. Well, we can't even do a Summer Sausage or Dracula because half the movies are probably going to be on the Frankenstein thing.
For fuck.
It'll be a you know, we're not going to do the same movies twice.
No, there's like two. There's Dracula. There's Dracula's daughter. The bride I might even be getting them mixed up. The Bride's of Dracula, and then it probably is the House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula.
I'll tell you what they are.
So probably exactly, and then Abbott Costello. You're right. Three of them will be in this. There you go. Why am I guessing?
Dracula, daughter, son, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Abbott and Costello. So really, it's 3 movies. Yeah. It's a 3-movie thing, which we could do. It makes it easier now.
Yeah.
Well, we could do the Mexican Dracula too, or the Spanish, not Mexican. Sorry.
We're not getting into that again. Holy shit.
No, I didn't mean to. I just the Spanish Dracula, which I still don't understand what that means. Is the same actor in the Spanish Dracula?
No,
Bela Lugosi?
No, and someone said that they think that Spanish actor did a better job than Bela Lugosi.
Everybody likes the Spanish one more than the original. I hear that
crazy.
It. But I thought it was the same thing. Like, you know what I thought the Spanish Dracula meant? Like what you were just talking about. The freaking Exorcist, the beginning, and the Exorcist Dominion, that it was the same people made at the same time. Somehow.
They did. No, supposedly they did, but not the same people.
Not Dracula.
No, the same sets. Let me rephrase that. I believe they used the same sets, and they just filmed it with the Spanish crew and actors.
Well, I want Bela Lugosi, especially after what I saw yesterday. But we'll talk about that.
That's a Hungarian Dracula. That's a Romanian Dracula.
Whatever it is, I want Bela Lugosi playing my Dracula. That's all there is to it. Okay, Chris A.K. Scott again.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Or an episode dedicated to the band Fish or Cats. Okay. Don't get me started. I'll talk about fish and cats all day. You're right. Fish and cats, like the animals, you know. Don't even it's tour season. Don't even get me started talking about fish. I got things coming up and stop. Okay. TJ, honestly, I've been enjoying the wheel. Was sort of sad to see it stop for Summer Sausage. I say keep going with the wheel. Yeah, we never said we were abandoning the wheel thing.
What wheel? What wheel?
I called it the wheel. Spin the wheel, make a deal. It was our freaking randomizer with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Well, yeah, we still have that. We still have a lot of topics that we didn't talk about.
Yeah. Now, are we going to continue just do that to the end of the year? Maybe. But even if we don't, if we mix it up with some of this, we can still do that wheel stuff continuing into next season. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But we'll figure it out. So at least
Wheel of Terror.
There you go. Wheel of Terror.
That's what we're calling it.
All right. Steve Pinna, favorite death metal bands with incomprehensible vocals. I guess Creator. Top.
I can't even do that because usually I didn't listen to them more than just that one time.
Agreed.
Like the death, Cannibal Corpse. So I really can't really be a fair judge on that because I don't know enough about said genre.
Well, yeah, he's not even being serious, so it doesn't matter. We're okay. Said John.
I know. I wanted to kick myself off the show.
Thought I was working with a millennial for a second. Yeah. Holy cow. Okay. Number 2, Dave's top 50 crushes. because we did talk about this. It would have to
Yeah.
be, you know what? I started writing them down just off the top of my head the other day. I wonder how many I came up with. Maybe, let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to count on the show. It's ridiculous. Let's just say that I have probably, I don't know, 30 written down off the top of my head. No porn
Jesus.
stars, just everybody else. And
I don't even know
maybe
more
I'll-
than like 3 porn stars' names, I think.
What? Are you serious? You don't
Yeah.
watch porn for the actress? You
Not
just pick whatever comes up?
yeah.
What? I can't even imagine. Wow. Me.
No offense, it's not the acting that I'm watching.
I understand, but it's who you're attracted to. It's who does it for you. So I've been doing this since the beginning. Even in the 90s, I was compiling 6, 12, 18 hours worth of videotapes. The girls that I like, I would rent the movies and I would just use their scenes and I would put them on one disc, not burn it. I would record them on one videotape, and the videotapes were my greatest hits of my favorite girls, the favorite scenes, if you will. So I was just always doing that, and that's what I would have. Nowadays, this is the secret: playlists. If you go to Spank Bang and you go to anything, dude, I'm telling you, it's by far the best now. So you find a girl you like. Let's say who's a common girl.
Oh shit.
Who's a popular girl? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
You tell me. I
don't know.
Told you.
Megan Rain. I have no idea. That's
Make
just
it rain.
One I like. Megan Rain, I said. Let's just say that's just one. So you go on, you look at a Megan Rain video, then you click on it, and then you scroll down, and it says available in these playlists. And people on those sites will make playlists just of that girl. So if you like that girl, all of a sudden you could come and see Megan Rain 303 videos. All you got to do is subscribe to that playlist, and that's it. Anytime you go back,
I don't subscribe to anything pornography wise.
Well, it's just on their site. You sign in, you create a thing, and
yeah, I don't do that.
Anytime you go on, you go to your favorites, and there it is. And then, so I have probably 20, 25 actresses on there, and I can just go to their playlists. That's where I'm at now. It's constantly evolving. It's been this way for 30 years, what I do. It's true. I got to keep things interesting and do new things and everything else. But anyway.
Sweet papaya.
I know. All right. But I did write a bunch of girls down off the top of my head, and there we have it. Shoot, where did I go? Patreon. Okay. What else in Christian's house smells?
Oh, that prick.
Who knows?
The chair's still here.
The chair's still there? Well, it's stinking up the joint.
Yeah.
What do you want? And how about Chris, aka Scott? The thing that happened to him, he did to somebody else. I'd love to hear a death metal episode, since that is one of my passions. No, we just said that we can't even do it,
Yeah.
because of that. Ay. Hold on, I'm getting wrenched.
Oh, no worries, man.
It's okay. All right. Oh, Maron. Okay, so I'm okay. Scott Allen, double feature review of Time Walker and Frightmare.
Oh,
very specific.
Frightmare. There is one Frightmare that I actually didn't mind with my God, the guy plays Herbert, or not Herbert Lom. My God, Herbert Wes from Reanimator. Why can't Jeffrey Combs?
What, Jeffrey Combs?
Jeffrey Combs. Okay. He's in one that it's the horror host that dies, and they're all fans of him, and they go break into his crypt or where he's held in his coffin, and he gets resurrected, and he haunts them and sort of kills them in that house. Okay. I think you've seen that one, right? That's one of the Frightmares. And then there's another one that is, I think, from the 70s.
Is this a joke? Do you think these are bad movies?
Yeah, they are. Well, one of them is bad. What was the other one that was the double?
Time Walker?
Time Walker I tried to watch. That was fucking brutal. 82, 83. I'm pretty sure it's the one where the mummy pharaoh thing gets brought back to some college university.
Yeah, King Tut's tomb. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then I just watched that, but I don't know if I actually finished it. I think it was on
Oh,
Shudder. It popped up somewhere that I'm like, oh, I'll check this out again or whatever. And it would have been
okay.
on Shudder earlier this year or late last year.
So Time Walker, and what's the other one? Fright. You said there's
Frightmare.
more than one Frightmare.
Yes.
83 and 74. You're right. Yeah, 74 is after escaping a death sentence for hideous crimes. Wow, it's a 6.2. Wow, a 6.2 horror movie.
But I'm pretty
Bingo
sure
in the
he means the
70s. All
83
right.
one. But
Okay, well, let's look
I
at the
I
83.
could be wrong.
1983, a 4.6. When his loyal fans decide to steal his fresh corpse from the mortuary to party it all night long, a true horror film star returns from the grave. Oh, so why are they showing all the Universal monsters in this commercial? This is weird. Huh.
Well, because they
I'm at
got a
least
horror
intrigued.
house or something. I don't know. But
Okay.
I remember
Okay, I'm
liking this
intrigued.
one. I haven't seen the
Yeah.
70s one, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, something to think about. Let us know if you're joking. Okay. David Andriana, David Lynch. David Lynch. I've never seen Eraserhead. It was the only movie I never saw on the list, so I suppose I could watch it for the show. I like the other one a lot. I don't know if it was no, it wasn't Firewalk with Me. It was one of them, which was really cool. I did it for the summer series. It was the first time I saw it. It might have been Lost Highway. I
See,
can't remember. The devil was involved. It was pretty cool.
that's Lost Highway. Or
Okay.
the Phil
They,
Spector, not Phil Spector.
they
Is it Phil
broke into
Spector?
his house in the beginning. They went to a party and something happened at their house and
Yeah.
they had to go back because there was a break in or something. That was really cool. I saw it once and liked it.
Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive are interesting. I like Blue Velvet, Wild
Yeah,
at
I liked it.
Heart, but all of his movies, they still, I never feel like going back.
There
They
you
kind of
go.
annoy me a little
Fair
bit.
enough. Well, then forget it. I'm not going to annoy Christian. Didn't he do Dune or am I wrong
Yeah,
about
he
that?
did the original Dune. I'll do Blue Velvet again. I'll watch Blue Velvet again, um, and what
Yeah, it
was
was
that other
fun.
one I just mentioned? Or
Eraserhead.
Lost Highway or Mulholland Drive. Those three I would check out again.
We'll see then. Well, maybe we'll do that. I don't
But
know.
they're mind
Don't
fuck
hold your breath.
movies. They're mind fuck movies.
Yeah.
It's the ones that like this must mean something, but then you kind of have to wonder, does it? Does it actually mean something, or is it just a mind fuck? Like one of them,
Oh,
the
that.
guy,
What are
the
you going
guy
to do?
wakes up in jail. It's Lost Highways. So when the guy wakes up in jail and he ends up being, he wakes up as a little like a teenage version of himself or a teenage kid.
I can't remember. I saw it one
It's all
time. I
fucked up.
don't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Well, let's see what happens. Bob Jordan, besides slashers, I really enjoy vampires. There's a lot you could do with that. Also,
yeah.
werewolves. Are there any directors that you haven't profiled? Finally, more foreign horror. Well, we do enjoy foreign horror. We never plan on it being a foreign horror show. We just
Yeah.
comes around. We like these movies,
We've done them every now
As
and then.
far as directors, I don't know.
Characters we have a lot. I think we could still do. We never really did
Yeah,
Sam Raimi. We
true.
did his Evil Dead films, but we didn't do like him. Like we didn't do Drag Me to Hell,
Right,
The Gift.
right.
I feel like I'm missing one, but
I feel like you are too. What the hell is it? The
oh,
Frighteners?
Dark
Is that?
Man. But no, that was Peter Jackson. Dark Man, which is
That's right.
not really horror, but
Yeah, right.
you know.
Yeah, that
So
might be it. I don't know. I mean, maybe, and we like vampires too and werewolves. We talk about them a little bit. We have recently too,
well, yeah,
you know?
vampires. I mean, we've done Salem's Lot. We did Fright Night. I don't
Hmm.
think we did Near Dark. I
No,
think we did Vamp quickly as one of those shows where we were doing a whole year, and it happened to be one of the
possibly.
years, I believe.
86. We did it for
But then
22 shots. I know
we
that
would
much.
have done Near Dark, I think, because I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that's
you would
86.
think.
Oh no,
Huh?
that's 87. That's 87.
You're right.
But we did the Lost Boys, didn't we? Recently, more recently,
Don't know.
or did I just watch
I
it?
still
And
can't
I'm
remember.
just thinking
I
if
might have
I,
just watched it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think I just watched it. I can't, we have to look. All right, I don't know. Let's see. Warren Money, guests. People do like guests. Fango letters, Triple R, and FF and slasher retrospectives. How about
There we
that?
go.
You know, I'm about found footage in slashers, of course, triple R's. It's been a minute.
But we
You know, we
tossed
kind
around
of
the
do it a
idea.
little bit.
We did
Yeah.
toss around the idea for a split second of doing Year of the Slasher Part 2
Part 2.
and revisiting the list, but also checking out anything new that was released since then, or ones that
Yeah.
maybe never got to. Because we did watch a lot, and I still feel like I missed a bunch, or my thoughts have changed on a bunch of them
Yes.
that should have made it in my opinion.
Right. No, I'm with you. And don't forget, oh shoot. There was something else. Oh, the foreign slashers. We disqualified them last time. We could include them this time. We could go, look for the best.
So maybe next year will be Year of the Slasher Part 2.
That'd be something. Okay.
An explosion Part 2.
I'm not explosed. I'm not opposed.
That's because I just said explosion.
No.
I knew exactly where you're going with it. It's fine.
I'm losing it, man.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I know. The Gloomy Vampire. He says, Paul Nashi werewolf movies. I really like the werewolf versus vampire women. I've never seen this guy's movies. I know they're out there.
I know.
They haven't intrigued me, but that doesn't mean I won't.
I feel like that's a moodsy thing. Like that seems like something you get on 22 shots that moods would cover, but I'm not against it either. We could do it. Like Jess Franco and Nashi. I'm not well versed in their films.
I'm not excited. Yeah, I'm not excited about it. But I wasn't excited about Universal and Hammer either. And I still enjoyed my time with them.
Remember we did the non-horror Bava show that I think Derek was his thing. And I wasn't excited about doing it because it was non-horror, but I enjoyed them.
Right. No, I dig it.
Yeah.
So maybe we will. That's something to keep on the back burner.
It wasn't Bava. It was
Fulci.
Fulci, the non-horror Fulci show. Bava was horror.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Chris Clement. BS shows. All right. More of Dave's dad. I'll see what I can do. And Fango letters. There you go. More Fango. Boom.
Rolling around in his grave. The guy's alive and well.
Now, here's the next one. I don't know if it's a joke or he's being serious. But Kevin R. says, can you do a breakdown of the movie Possession? I just watched it this year and I can't stop thinking about it.
No, I think he's being serious. And fuck, people love that movie. We'll do it. We did do it. We have it. Episode 81 is Possession.
Right, we did.
So we have done it. I don't know how much more.
Yeah, we did review it.
Watch
it was a while.
Yeah,
what episode was that? You're right.
I think we did break it down. It was 81 because it was Possession and Scanners.
Well, the year was 81. Mistaken. Was the episode 81? I don't think it was.
Yeah,
it was early on in our catalog.
Yeah, you might be right. You're right. It was year 81, I remember. But it wasn't episode 81. I can't remember either.
That's when we were doing those shows. We were picking the top 5 of the year that we each had. We did 81, and we talked about, and we also reviewed a movie.
Here's my visual review of the movie. Right.
He's rocking in his chair vigorously in case you can't see it. and I'll be the woman puking.
Yeah.
Holding her crotch and whatever the hell she's doing and puking white stuff. I will watch it again.
I feel like I'm Richard Dreyfuss's character in like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or Fourth Kind, where he's with the mashed potatoes, and then it's
the third kind. It is the third.
It's funny because I said I'm Richard Dreyfuss, but I'm actually thinking I'm Weird Al Yankovic in UHF when he mocks that scene and he's got the mashed potatoes and he goes, "This means something." And that's what I think of when Possession pops up. It means something, but I'm not sure that I like the way that it was presented to me. I am sure.
Right.
I don't like it. What do you mean? Why am I dancing around this? Like I'm tapped in. I'm Fred Astaire my way around it.
Interesting reaction, but what does it mean? Yeah, you know a movie that's from? Interesting reaction. But what does it mean?
Is it one that I should know, like through and through?
I'll give you a hint. It's animated.
Huh. That doesn't help me.
Anyway,
I don't know.
it's Jack Skellington. He says it in Nightmare Before Christmas when he's researching Christmas and he
I
does
should know
stuff, and
that. I've seen that movie enough.
you know, yeah, I've seen it so many times. Did I ever tell you the story of the first time I saw it?
No,
Fuck.
I don't think
So
you
the
did.
first time the first time I saw that movie was at the height of me being an acid head. And my friend and I wanted, when we saw the commercial for, because remember, this is at the time you didn't see something like this at the theater. You saw a little claymation, but when this movie coming out, it was kind of like a groundbreaking thing at the theater. So we said, okay, we're gonna trip and go fucking see this movie. So we take acid and we go to the Galleria Mall. Funny, that's where my daughter works now. But we go to the Galleria Mall to see the movie, and we're walking around for an hour before because we're tripping and we're having fun and everything else, and we're doing our thing, and we're antsy to see the movie. And then I remember, this is the funny part. We had to do something to kill more time. So we just decided, we weren't hungry because you never really eat when you're tripping, except way later on the come down. So we didn't want to eat, but we wanted to do something. We had to kill some time before the theater opened or whatever, and we had gone everywhere. So we just wanted to sit down and just, collect our thoughts and compose ourselves. And so we went and we got a drink. And we, like I said, we weren't hungry or even thirsty at the time. So we just got one drink from like a pizza place in the mall. You know what I mean? Just in the food court. And we got a large drink. And we got it, and we got 2 straws. And it just did it and just started drinking out of it. And then I remember, like, as we're doing this, one of us started bugging out and thinking, I wonder if everybody around us thinks that we're gay because we're 2 guys sitting here sipping out of the same straw. So then we started getting nervous about that and how we looked. And I remember that to this day, how funny that was. We were looking around, we were like, I wonder if everyone thinks that we're gay, So anyway,
If I was there
bottom line is,
sitting, I would have been like, yeah, they're gay.
well, there you go. See, but it was the furthest
or at
thing
least
from our
Pan.
mouth. We were just
I'm sorry about
ripping Pan.
Sorry.
At least Pan. Yeah. So
I'm gonna keep on
now the movie. Now we go in and we see the movie, and as soon as this freaking movie starts, literally, I don't know what the duration of the movie is. Hour and a half, hour and 40. I basically just sat there the whole time like this. Just jaw dropped, eyes wide open.
Everybody's cocking your mouth. I wonder if anybody thinks we're gay. I'm sorry.
No, he said that, listeners, because I opened my mouth wide open, like my jaw was dropped. Just so you know.
Yeah, I forget that a lot of this is visual.
I was astonished, and so was he. We were watching at the movie, not at his dick. Not at the blowjob I was giving him. We were astonished at that. So the whole movie I'm watching, I'm just like, oh my God. We were both just blown away. But I had to pee so bad. Remember, we had that whole drink together. We were nervous. We just drank it to drink it. You know what I mean? And I'm in there tripping balls and watching this movie. And I had to pee so bad after an hour. And there was no way I could drag myself from the movie to go pee. I was so immersed in the freaking movie and the experience and what I was seeing on that screen. Unforgettable. People, if you take acid or shrooms or any psychedelic like that, and this movie ever comes to the theater, go and see it. Anyway, but that's what we did. I had to pee so bad I couldn't. Then we finally got out. The movie ends. Of course, we wait for everybody in the theater to leave. We're the last 2 that leave because, we're tripping out on acid and probably nobody else is. It's the middle of the afternoon, and we go to the bathroom, outside the theater in the mall, whatever. And I remember just peeing for like 3 straight minutes, just like still tripping, still blown away. And I don't know, something happens with your member when you're on acid if you're a guy. And I'm just gonna say it's just everything about that is weird when you're tripping. Yeah, so that added to it. I'm, going pee and I'm looking down and everything. It was an experience, though. That's all I'm saying. So, so that was the Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh,
It's
what
funny you
else?
mentioned the Golden Galleria. I don't know if I told this when I was on when we were talking about the show. That's where years ago when I was in high school still, and we're driving back from um driving back from Ellicottville. Ellicottville, yeah, we stopped.
Yeah,
We
okay.
decided to stop there because they said why not, and you can walk around for a bit and shop. And they had a movie store there that happened to have Hellbound Hellraiser 2 Laserdisc with the beautiful uncut or unrated little sash
Oh, I
at the
remember
bottom.
that
And I'm
one.
like, oh my god, because I had only seen the VHS that was cut in Canada. There was no
Yeah.
uncut version floating around at any video store that I went to. So I grabbed it. I bought it. And it's funny because we're talking Hellraiser tonight, not this particular one. We're in this is when Clive Barker's become more involved, specifically with the one we're going to be talking about tonight. I think he's back to being an official producer, not just an
Hardcore.
executive producer that happened to, because of Rink's factor,
No, no,
got
no.
his name on there.
He's
He's
everything
he's
creative,
involved now,
everything.
exactly.
Yes.
Again,
Yep.
and so really he was, I think after part, was it, did he already go up the bloodlines? I think the bloodlines he was still pretty much involved, but kind of took a backseat after the second one. But anyway,
Yeah.
suffice it to say, I bought that and I remember going home. You want to talk about mouth dropped wide open when I popped that in and saw that, get them off me, and how
Oh,
long that went and everything else. I was blown away. It was like fantastic. So
it is
every time
great.
I think of the Walden Galleria, which I've been to many a time since, I cannot think of going there without thinking of going there and buying Hellbound Hellraiser 2 on Laserdisc back in, that would have been 91,
Sounds
right
about right.
around that time
Why
frame.
not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
90,
Man,
91. Yeah.
that's exciting. Getting the unrated version of anything. Now I have to question you on this. I mean, anytime a laser disc comes into question, I think about this, but this time it makes sense. Did you get this one signed by Clive Barker?
No, no. The only one I
Oh,
officially got signed, although it's been the running gag, because it's like anything I bought, I signed it, was Lord of Illusions. I just remember I brought it to his book signing though
and then you sold
when
it.
Sacrament came. Yeah, but not then. For me, that was signed. I wasn't getting that signed like people do nowadays to try to sell it for a premium on eBay. I was getting it
No, I
signed because
know.
I was meeting Clive Barker for the first
You
time,
wanted it. Hey, I get it.
and I had it right here. Yeah, here
Oh, you didn't
I've
sell
showed
it.
the picture. There it is. There's me
Oh yeah.
with my buddy Brent
Wow.
and Andrew and Clive
Wow.
Barker. That's the book signing, and that's
That's
where he
awesome.
signed. It's right here because I think I showed it on the show before. And there's another picture. I think
Why did you
I'm holding
sell
up
that? Man,
because
I
I'm an
can't
idiot.
believe
I
that.
sold all my laser discs at one point because
Yeah,
they're just
but an
bulky, taking up
autograph from
room.
Clive Barker.
I know.
Wow,
Well, because
that's the
I'm
one
a
I would have
fool.
kept.
I'm a
That
fool.
happens. I shouldn't give you shit.
That was the only one I
I
signed,
threw
and
things out.
I had him sign Jesus Wept. And I remember a guy in the line was like,
Huh?
"Why are you getting him singing Jesus Wept on your Lord of Illusions? That's from Hellraiser." I'm like, "Because I like the line."
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Because Jesus wept is a phrase that can be
and I didn't buy the
used.
book. I told you I was like a dumb. I wasn't young, like I've mentioned on the show before.
Amazing.
I should have known better. I was older than my daughter, my oldest daughter, right now by at
Yeah.
least a year.
Clive didn't care, I'm sure.
He
I don't
really
think he
didn't
remembered.
care. He did not care
See?
at all. He was
See?
so nice and cordial, and he took
Yeah.
pictures, and he was smiling, and he
Right.
didn't. Oh, it's awesome.
Didn't even care
Anyway,
he didn't buy his book.
yeah,
That's great. What book was it, by the way?
Sacrament.
Oh, see, you said that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
Sacrament.
it's fine
Okay.
because I did I get it later in life? I can't remember now, but yeah, almost positive. So, hey, when did that come out? Because that's when I got it signed. Let's see.
Later on, because I don't remember that one. I think it might have been after I stopped reading them.
Well, I'm with Vince and Andrew there,
Oh,
so that would have been, well, Andrew I knew beforehand. Vince, I met in 93. So
No,
yeah, 94, I met Vince, I think.
the last one I bought from him had a mailbox on the cover. I think it was the Great and Secret Show.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Can't remember.
That one
Either
I've got,
way,
uh,
his
trying to
writing
think
got too
behind all that.
good. I had to stop reading him because I was too stupid to understand what he was saying.
Well,
He just kept getting better and better. I needed a thesaurus to try to freaking read his work. And I
so it
said,
came out
okay.
in 96. Well, again,
Okay.
we're idiots because I had the Lord of Illusions Laserdisc, meaning the Lord of Illusions had to come out first. So that came out in 95. So it had to be after
Right.
95.
Of
that
course.
would have been our starting
Hello.
point.
Lord of Illusions. Right, of course.
And then Sacrament was released in 96. So that he was doing
Okay.
a book touring, and I lived in Oakville, the town next to us. That's where I grew up. And now I'm in Burlington, which is where the chapters was that was having the book signing. So we zoomed here, went to that book signing, and then I went out, and then Andrew took off, went home, and I went out and hung out with Vince and some friends in Hamilton for the night with that
Nice.
laser disc, worried about that laser disc being in my car.
Worried about it. A few years later, it was out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
It was out of his life.
Yeah, well, the laser disc would have been sold in 2002. 2000.
I hope you got good money for it. That's all I'll say.
Are you kidding me? They were all sold in a. I sold some of them separately. Most of them were sold in lots, but like the Lord of Illusions was sold separately. The Phantasm, the Pulp Fiction, the Platoon, the big box ones like that were beautiful. Those were all
I'm gonna
sold
look it up.
separately. But
Lord of Illusions
LD.
laser disc.
It was the
Let's see how
director's
much
cut
it
one. It's a
sells for
beautifully
now.
black one. And that's where I saw the director's cut, right? Because again, the video version only had the R rated, and what you saw in the theater was the R rated. So that was the first time I saw the director's cut of that, and it had both versions.
Oh, these are cheap. They go for anyone from $8 to $18.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Not
Lord
all
of
of them
Illusions
are fucked.
Laserdisc, signed by Kevin J. O'Connor and Clive Barker, $74.99. Oh man, see how much more just for the autograph. I don't even know who freaking Kevin J. O'Connor is.
I'm pretty sure whoever has mine kept it.
To Neil, best wishes. Okay, so it's not you.
Well, mine, you'll know what mine is. Mine literally says Jesus wept. So
right.
There you go. And then
Wouldn't
my
it be something if
Phantasm,
I found it?
I told you my Phantasm one was the boxed one that was numbered. And then when I saw Don Coscarelli at Phantasm 4 at Fantasia, when Fantasia Fest came to Toronto that one time, because there's always in Montreal, and it came to Toronto that one time, and we're like, yeah. And we went, I got him to sign it. I asked him to sign it, and he was reluctant. I've told the story in the show before as well. He was reluctant because I said, can you just sign it one of one? He's like, I don't think I could do that. I'm like, you could do anything. You're the director. Why not?
Right.
So that's when we were watching Phantasm 4.
Wow. That's Lord of Illusions. Is yours unrated? Was yours unrated?
Yeah, it's the black one. It's the black.
It's black.
It's
okay.
the black.
Okay.
The black one there, and yeah. So
that's what everybody seems to have here. Okay, just making sure that's what you had. I thought maybe you could have had an extremely rare one. I wanted to rub it in your face some more. Maybe you had some version that nobody had.
No, it was the one that says Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions, unrated director's cut underneath.
Yeah, that's the one that's on there. It's the only one I think. I'll keep combing there one day. See if one day I can find one that says Jesus wept on it. Okay, so see how much it goes
buy it
for.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, buy it back and give it to you for a birthday gift or something. There you go. Okay, Shelby says, let's get some J-horror going. Well, you don't have to convince me about J-horror. I'm watching the Ju-On franchise again. And
have you continued with Children of the Corn while we're on this? I'm not against J-horror either.
No. I gotta pick it back up again. I gotta pick Children of the Corn up again. But I will. First chance I get. It isn't that I'm not blowing it off. I'm gonna finish it. Just next show, I guess. We can talk about it. Rumple Foreskin. Creature features.
I love that name.
Although he talks about movies, some of them that we've seen. Done. Humanoids from the Deep.
We've done.
Ghoulies. Rawhead Rex.
We've done Rawhead Rex, not Ghoulies, though.
Yep, right. Terror Within, Runestone, Watchers, and so on.
I remember liking Terror Within. I think that was a standout. Now, I remember they had a sequel to that too, Terror Within 2. And I remember that not being as good, but there was a couple, like there was the Connoisseur series from Roger Corman. Whether I can't remember if Connoisseur was good or Connoisseur 2. One of them was good and the other ones were crap. Mm-hmm. I would probably lean towards Connoisseur being the good one. But same with the Terror Within. One of those I liked better than the other. I'm pretty sure was probably part 1. But the monster was pretty cool looking. I remember seeing those back in the day. Those are good direct-to-video ones that I checked out. I remember seeing a bad one, Creepazoids with Linnea Quigley. That was an Empire
I'd
one.
watch it with her. There was a one, Without Warning. Have you ever seen Without Warning?
I didn't watch it with her, and she's in it.
I know that. With her. You sat on the couch and watched it with her. Hey, Linnea.
Linnea, what were you thinking of this shower scene here?
She's on my list, by the way, of my top 50 crushes. I wrote.
Oh, back in the day, no question. Like this is
that's what
like,
I go by. What lasted the longest?
Exactly.
That's what I was going by.
That would be my stipulation as well. As like this was like if you like, because I always come down and you make fun of you for porn. But if I think of porn, I think of like really two, Jenna Jameson and that Jeanne girl that was on the cover of the Blink-182 albums. Those are the two names that I remember. Janine. Yeah. So like those two, those are the two that I remember. So sure, those may be on my list if that was inclusive. But when it comes to movies, yeah, I'd say Linnea was right there. Like back in the day with like the
for years.
No question.
That's what I'm saying. Ones that lasted the longest. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at a girl.
I met her too at she's coming to that Frightmare in the Falls this October again. So maybe we'll bite the bullet and finally go. We're supposed to go last year. Cool. You had the car thing. I had the problem with the situation of watching Christian and trying to work out the schedule. Remember, it was thinking of whether we were going to do that or the horror thing with Heather and Scott. We bailed on both, but she's coming. But I met her way back in the Toronto, the one Fangoria Weekend of Horrors in Toronto.
That's cool.
There's more video than the video that that little segment that I put on the Patreon feed way back when.
I remember. Yeah.
I put that there, but there's a whole thing when she's like acting, she's filming us and we're going up pretending we're zombies and whatever. And she had us rolling around. My buddy Darren and I were rolling around on the ground, like brains and all that stupid stuff. Like when you really think back to it, but we got all that on film somewhere.
Yeah.
But she was cool.
Man. That's awesome. She's great. I was trying to find the one on what do you call it? The that I put on Facebook because that was the end of the whatchamacallits, the responses from there. So I know we have here's one. This one was in the patrons and one was in the regular. So let's see what the patrons had. Okay. All comments. Warren Stewart. There he is. Warren Money. Okay. Who said, he basically said what
I think
the same thing. A few.
I saw some of those. I think they're copies. Yeah.
Yeah. Fango Mail. Slashers. Found footage. Okay. John Rhodes. More lists and maybe more filmmaker actor retrospectives. They don't have to be all encompassing.
Nice.
That's possible. I love lists. So I mean,
because we did the Dario Argento ones, right? Because we really hit most of his. I think we did everything from the Animal trilogy. I think we've hit all of his horror films up until opera.
We've done a lot, right?
Yeah,
and we'll do more. We can do some other ones,
and we've done a few others. I think we did Sleepless, and in a short review, we did Sleepless and Giallo back in the day.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll have to look into the directors thing or the actors. There's not too many actors I follow all their stuff, but it is interesting. I wouldn't mind covering all all the Mia movies. She's never made a bad movie. But anyway, that's another story. Ram Man. Oh, okay. We got this. Yep. We've heard
Animated.
this. Billy D, here you go. I'd like to hear a review of the zombie series Black Summer on Netflix. Black Summer, we always hear about this show.
I watched it. I watched it with Jocelyn, my daughter. We watched both seasons are great. I love the way it was filmed.
Yeah.
Fast paced.
It's
Like
only
you said, it's only like a few hours long
Yeah.
this season. And
Yeah.
the second one was done. I talked about it on the show before too. The second one was done almost like Tarantino style. I say that because he was the one of the first to bring. I'm not saying that this didn't exist before him, but the sort of just jointed storytelling that you kind of get from the Pulp Fiction style structure, like to a show where it starts with one thing and then you sort of backtrack and you fill in the pieces of the puzzle. And I like that. It could be done very confusingly in certain movies, but in the show is really well done. That was a solid 2-season show. I had no clue. I think Jason Smith was the one that told me that it was a spinoff of Z Nation or one of those ones. And we tried to get into that and I could not get into it. But Black Summer was very, very digestible, very, very cool. Well worth checking out. Gory, well acted, and fast paced.
Maybe we can do it if we ever do a show. It's only 4 hours, he says, so that's good. So maybe a top 3 to 5 list of up and coming directors that each of you are impressed with. We kind of have been doing that about up and coming directors and modern directors. I think we've addressed it a few times. As a matter of fact, the one that we're going to talk about today is really 3 for 3. Well,
Yes.
even more than 3. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's one that I'll keep my eye on him. Tell us any plans you have coming up for the Halloween season, any special watches or events you're looking forward to. Okay, maybe we can do that during Halloween time. Maybe invite a guest on to do some triple R's. Triple R's and guests coming up again. So maybe so. You know,
well,
anything found footage. What's that?
Triple R's were always fun.
Yeah, it's just that we were watching so much and then we felt like we had to watch too much and then we were trying to get away from having to watch too many things. So
I think we've been
really
doing it.
What it is.
We've been kind of doing it more on the way I like, more maybe they want a bit more of a deep dive, but we've been doing it kind of like just what have we been watching, and we've kind of listed it and chatted like our brief feelings about it, which again we can dive a little deeper, but that's kind of where we've been how we've been handling it more recently.
Yeah, it's not bad. I guess people like the triple R thing though. See, way back when we started doing that. Cool. And Keith says anything found footage, you don't gotta convince me. Or how about Dave finally watches Die Hard? Yeah, I'll watch Die Hard.
There we go.
I guess I should watch it in Christmas since everybody's so passionate that have the opinion that it's a Christmas movie, that it absolutely is, and there's no question about it. So maybe I'll do it that season.
Yeah, and then you could give your honest opinion of, yeah, of course that's Christmas. Like, yes, I get what people are saying for both sides. The damn thing, I mean, takes place at Christmas. It encompasses the holidays. In the soundtrack, in everything that's happening, the whole reason why he's there. Like, so I think it's a little bit more than just setting it at Christmas time.
Of course.
At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. Like, to the extent of what people, I'm not going to wear it on. Like, yeah, have I watched it at Christmas? Yes. Every Christmas for the past 4 years, I've watched it at least 4 years. I've watched it with my daughter, Jocelyn, and Christian, if he wants to watch it with us. We watch 1 and 2. Everybody doesn't talk about 2.
There you go.
2 takes place 1 year later at the Christmas holidays. But no one talks about
nobody cares about 2. Wow.
And it's in the snow and everything.
Wow. Well, you got to start with the first one. First, you got to say yes to the first one to consider saying yes to the others, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll watch it this Christmas season. How's that? I think I started to watch it. I think I was like 5 minutes into it.
No, maybe it was something else, but
no. Is Bobcat Goldthwait in the beginning of it?
Bobcat?
No. No, that was Scrooged, I think. Maybe he was in Scrooge in the beginning, because I never saw Scrooged either, and I know that's like a Christmas thing I should watch.
Hey, dude,
anyway,
I know we're not done here, but I just, because we're talking about what we watched, I don't know if you want to throw in some too, but I'll tell you, I watched one movie called Alone at Night. Have you heard about this one? It's
Alone at Night.
it
No.
came out supposedly this year. Um, kind of been like panned when I look at people's reviews,
Uh-huh.
and I don't disagree with them. It's
Oh, well,
it's
I'm
kind of
gonna see
like
it then.
it's not something that you need to rush out and check out. It's really trying to take its cues from a slasher type film and just not really delivering on anything. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, playing around with like who do I trust, who's bad, who's good. You'll not be fooled for 1 second of the film. The weirdest
Mm.
part of it is that there's a big component where you see these people trapped in a house, like Big Brother style, that they keep cutting back to, and Paris Hilton's in it, and Pamela Anderson's in the movie too. And you're
Speak
kind
of
of
the
wondering,
devil. I was just looking at it.
and
Wow.
you're kind of wondering why the fuck do we keep cutting back to this house? And the explanation for that is either like a funny like oh you got me, or an absolute cop out and just sinks the movie even lower. But
Wait a
I
minute.
you won't like the movie, Dave, even with Pamela Anderson in it. It's pretty damn bad.
Okay. That's fine. I just watched the Pamela documentary on Netflix, so I guess I got enough
I'd
Pamela
say
now.
about 1.5 out of 5.
Oh,
So
wow. Damn.
yeah,
Okay.
at the most. I like the main girl. The main girl in it is good. I feel bad that she's in this movie because she's good. Like I like her. In fact,
Yeah.
I might even go to 2 just for her. Two stars because I think she's at least good in it and like just stuck in a bad movie. Then I watched the found footage movie because you kind of got me. You get me. Well, I watched Hell House 1 and 2 again because Joss
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see them and watch them, and then I watched 21
Not
Days.
three?
Have you seen? Well, not now. I thought I remembered 3 being
Okay.
the really bad one out of the batch,
I
but
liked them all. Most people, I think that two is the worst, but I've liked
yeah.
them all. So
Well, I'll go
maybe the
back
wrong
and
guy
watch
to
3
ask.
maybe again. I watched 21 Days. Have you seen this one? It's
I have not seen
so
21 Days. I want to, but
okay.
it's on the whole. Maybe I shouldn't say I want to. There must be a reason I didn't watch it yet. So it might be on the cusp
Well, I'm not
of whether
gonna.
or not I'm gonna
Maybe I
watch
won't
it.
say anything because I don't want to spoil it for you because I'm seeing some mixed reviews here. Oh, some guy gave it a 5. Come on, he must be the director. There's no fucking way that this is a 5. And then other people are giving it a 1. I'm going to tell you, here's my dilemma. This is the type of movie that when you say found footage, I expect people are talking about when they don't like the genre. It seems so, again, I'm going to use the term generic, which I feel like is such a cop-out term. Like after you see Paranormal Activity versus Blair Witch, it's like you combine those 2 movies, and this is what you've got here with not even
Weird.
all the talent. I'm not going to say there's no scares. Like they managed to get a little bit of tension going, but the main actors are not good actors. So right away, that takes you out of it. The main female's on the weaker side too, and she's in it for quite a bit of it. In fact, I think she feels like she looks like she's laughing in half the scenes, and because it's shaky cam though, you can't 100% tell. But it starts with the interviews of, so have you heard of this house, them telling their spiel about it. Like it's like, come on, can't you think outside the box? And it's a little too long for its own good, so you're almost like, take those interviews out for the beginning and just get into your movie. And maybe it would have been better because like you start with those interviews and I'm thinking Blair Witch ripoff 101
I love
right
interviews.
here.
That's my
Well,
see. I love
okay,
that
but
aspect when it's
I
like a documentary and they
yeah,
give
but they're
backstory.
they're talking to generic people in the street. It almost feels like they went up either. Well, obviously, they went up to the friends or family, but this almost feels like they went up to anybody on the street and said, "Hey, we're making a movie. Would you like to be in it?" Talk about that you don't know what the hell this house is about, or that you've heard of this house but you don't believe it, and whatever, and then just sign this release form based on talking about
Gotcha.
release forms from last time. And check it out because you're a found footage completist. But I admittedly, I was like, I'm not sure. I think this one just falls too much in that, St. Francisville experiment type. Just St. Francisville experiment
Well,
was a ripoff that came out of the gate at least. This one came out like in the 2013 or whatever, 2014.
yeah. Well, yeah, I've avoided it all this time. So I mean, it didn't really pass my test. So I don't want to watch everything. I just want to watch the good ones, like, with found footage. And I have ways to find out. By the way, POV horror. If you want to see some found footage, go over there. It's an app. It's $5 a month. And it's all found footage. So it's an all found footage freaking place to watch movies on the computer, on your screen, whatever it is. The app's out there, and it's really cool. So, and there's some things that there's exclusives for it, and they have it. Then they have some other ones. They have some director commentaries on stuff. So it's by the guy that was found footage critic that started that website. So it's really cool though. So if you want to see some found footage, at least look into POV horror and see what's on there.
Yeah.
For the enthusiasts.
And I watched On the Line, which was Mel Gibson's new movie that came out this year, direct to I think Netflix or whatever. It was okay. It's okay. I don't mind him. I know he's had a bad personal life and whatever that was made public, and said some really nasty shit that you can't
a long
excuse.
time ago.
Yeah,
wasn't
there? Oh, but then he like doubled down on it. There's been other things, but you're right. It's been a long time. Like people, if you're really human and you want to forgive and forget or whatever, or then, but I guess depending on if you're directly affected by it, I could see not wanting to support the person or whatever. But it was on Netflix, so I watched it. I wanted to watch it because it was about a radio, him on the radio. I'm like, I'm intrigued by anything that takes place at a radio station on radio. However, it doesn't, it goes off in a totally different way. It's kind of a thriller / action. I don't, again, I can't say too much without giving things away, but where it ends up going, I couldn't really buy into. So I ended up just kind of saying it's worth a watch, but don't expect much out of it. Kind of just average at best. Then I rewatched High Tension because I wanted, my daughter was like wanting to watch something. I go, let's get into some of the French extreme films. So we watched High Tension, which, man, I love. I still love that movie.
That's great.
And I can understand people being very frustrated with that twist. We've argued about it on the show of if you just realize that it's her telling the story so that anything can happen, then so be it. But I can understand you thinking it's a cheat as well, and so be it for you. But for my money, I totally love that movie. That look, that soundtrack. I mean, when you go back and see it, there's that Muse song in it as well. It's just great. It's so much to love about that movie. And it's gory as hell.
Definitely is. I don't think I have it on Blue still. Is it even out on Blue?
It is out on Blue. And I actually I realized I didn't. I'm like, I watched it on Tubi, funny enough, which was the R-rated version. But the R-rated version, it still gets away with a lot of gore.
Yeah.
It's really just the blood, the aerial spray, like when that shoots out of the dad's neck, the 2 shots of that at the beginning, and a little bit more blood spray with the mom. Excuse me, I got the hiccups there. And I'm not too sure what else, because everything else seems to be intact from what I've seen. But anyway, yeah, it's not overly expensive. Like I looked at it on eBay after watching it, because I'm like, man, I can't believe I don't have this. I think I had the DVD, but I can't find the DVD anywhere in my collection. So I don't know if I sold it thinking I was going to get the Blu-ray.
I did have the DVD.
Yeah. And then I started watching Lunatics: A Love Story. And I have to thank Dave Parker for that, because it's on his Plex, because Dave is a true blue guy, even though the guy has a physical collection that would rival any chain and blow most of them away. He will only have movies that are not released, which is quote unquote legal to have right now. Right now, in a streaming format. So I credit him for that, because he's a good guy that way, and he has that. I hadn't watched that since it was on video way back in the day. So I haven't finished it yet though, because I put it on late at night. And so I'm about 30-40 minutes in.
Speaking of Dave Parker, watch that video he made, that 1980, the year in review. It's great.
Yeah,
great
yeah.
video.
Well, I will.
Everybody,
yeah,
watch it. If you watch YouTube stuff, it's like an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it is. He gives his top 25 and honorable mentions, and just talks about the year 1980 for all, like documentary style, and It's such a good job, very professionally done, really, really good. So yeah, go look him up. Look up Mr. Parka and watch that 1980 thing.
Screaming Toilet.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Actually,
man.
links it.
I'll say that.
If you're on our Patreon page or just our regular Exploding Heads page, he usually links them right in there when they come out. So support him. He does a great job. I haven't watched that one, but
100%.
I watched Biddy. Like that's the thing. He puts out so much content, it's almost impossible to keep it. Yeah.
This is different than anything he's done. It's a full regular like documentary thing. He's not on the screen at all showing movies. It's a legit thing like you'd see any other YouTube documentary.
Nice.
Done his way. It's
even
freaking
better.
Great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It took me 3 settings to watch because I don't always sit and watch videos for an hour and a half or whatever it is, but it's great. So
I'm sorry I derailed you a little bit. We were talking about the patrons asking what they wanted to see. Oh, I'm done. That was it. That was all for me.
Okay. Well,
if you want to get into yours or if you want to finish what the people are talking about, whatever meets your fancy.
There's not a lot for me. Like, okay, I left off Children of the Corn. Then I watched Ju-on, the first 3 Ju-ons, and loved them. I watched a documentary called The Family I Had, which is quite interesting. I gave it 4 stars. It's yeah, it's pretty heavy, man. You know, a kid kills his younger sister, and it's something to see. The Family I Had, Pamela, a love story. I finally got around to watching the Pamela Anderson doc and quite enjoy it. Another 4 out of 5.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Goodfellas I watched just because. 5 stars. I finished the Black Mirror season. I watched the last one, Demon 79.
Yeah,
I've given all of them anywhere between 3 and 4 stars. I think I gave 2 or 3, and then a couple others like a 3. One of them I gave 4 stars. But overall, I heard people complaining about the season, but
it was my first season. I loved it.
Oh,
and then I went back.
It was good.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Everything was new to me, so I didn't have any expectations. I just started there, and they were all good, all great acting, great production, great everything. That one, that was the one. It took me a little while to warm up to that last episode for season 1, where she's the clerk, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was good.
It's good, definitely. They were all pretty good. And then I watched The Strangers because I wanted my brother to see part 2, and he hadn't seen the original. I said, "Well, we got to watch the original now." So the 3 of us,
man, do I like
watch the original Strangers?
I like the original too.
But still,
I love the original.
You want to have backstory.
But man, is Prey at Night underlooked as just a slasher? I find
fun.
like
I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah. It
but
just
part
looks
1
so cool. Yeah.
Is amazing. I love The Strangers at 4.5. I fucking great movie, man. So, but that's it that I have. And then I'll finish up. Oh, I got to start over again. I lost him. We have to go to the list. Okay, hold on. I had it all queued up, but okay, there it is. Hey, Hedda. It's okay.
Fuck yeah.
No, you're good. That's what we do. Okay, so okay, Lacey comes on and says Exploding Heads Slumber Party, sorority/fraternity horror flicks, which I do love that idea. Catherine Adams came on and said she loves it, and I said, yeah, we love it too. I'm going to say it right now live on the show.
But we did Slumber Party Massacre. I don't think we did any of the other ones.
Right. Yeah.
Officially.
Yeah.
We may have talked off the cuff like here and there, but I don't think we've done them officially.
I would definitely do them. Slumber Party, sorority movies, whatever they are, fraternity, because they're slashers and they're fun. So, of course, so maybe that could be
maybe working as the Year of the Slasher Part 2.
Yeah.
Next year.
There you go. Brent said, I'd love to hear you guys cover some of your favorites from your found footage list. Well, I'm always about that. Always love BS too. More love for BS also.
Nice. Well, you got
found footage.
Got your load today. I can't
Yeah.
even.
Ryan Bratton says game survival horror. Examples are movies like Would You Rather, 13 Sins, movies like that. We did do Would You Rather.
Yeah.
Great movie. I wouldn't mind talking about 13 Sins and the original 13 Game of Death, which is the Asian one, which
I don't think
is
I've seen either.
I've never seen it. You never seen 13 Sins?
No.
Wow. Oh, you're gonna like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesse says, I want more esoteric list about horror movies. Really get into the detailed factors of it. Interesting. Okay. I love when you dig more into 60s and 70s because it seems like you guys were sticking to 80s and 2010s and up stuff. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing a lot this season so far with different.
Fuck, we went back. Yeah, well, this is the most from back in the day we've ever done consistently. That's for sure.
We're all over the place. We've done
Yeah.
40s, 30s, 60s, 70s. This year, we've done quite a lot. We haven't done anything real too recent.
Well, we were doing when we were ramping up, and I forget when it. I start everything blends together, but there was that time frame when we were doing the 180 chunk. I think that was last year. That was all 80s years of the in the 80s. Remember, we're picking two movies from the 80s, so there was a big chunk of time, a lot of episodes dedicated to that.
So we could step back a bit, yeah. Oh, this is funny. Sean Miller, the Prom Night 4 versus Final Exam show off.
I'm telling you, man, there's a lot there that plays into You're the Slasher Part 2. I think that's what we should do next year.
Let's do it.
Not saying we can't do anything else, but we do that and maybe do found footage intercut in between.
You don't gotta convince me. I'm in my glory. Slasher and found footage. Shit, that's my season. Does Christian still think it's a dog and a half?
Of Final Exam, I'm assuming he's talking about.
I'm sure it's got to be that.
Yeah.
Does Brandon still want Christian to take his copy of Prom Night 4 and go fuck himself?
We'll ask Brandon next time he's on the show. But no, I even think Brandon said, like, as much as everybody was oohing and eyeing when we actually covered it, everybody was a little bit like softer or at least more willing to accept it than initially thought. Prom Night 4. If you remember when we did cover it. But I still like Prom Night 4. Should have made my list? No, I've said this time and time again that there are movies that are off the list that would have now been on the list, no questions asked, that I left off. And there's just no way, or that I've a new appreciation for, or I've just found I've watched more. And when I watch them more, that means I gravitate towards them more. So then why would they be off the list? So that list needs revamping, and that's one of the reasons why a part 2 to the Slasher Show would be interesting. Final Exam, I have to watch again. When I rewatched it, I do like that whole getting out of the exam by the mass shooting, even though how silly it is at the beginning. It's the killer literally showing up, no mask, looks like a regular guy in like fucking jeans, it seems. I know he's not wearing jeans. That has a knife killing people. It's all rather bloodlessly, but from what I remember. And then there's just no motive. He's dead at the end and it ends. But I'm willing to give it another shot. Watching all these old movies, it's really funny how quick these movies just end. Monster falls through the fucking quicksand. The end pops up.
Right.
It's done.
Hey, good.
No rhyme or reason. You don't really. And so I think it's just that they don't really give a motive or anything else. It just seems like it was missing one element that could have given it some more legs. But I'm willing to check it out one more time. I'd like to go back and check out all those. Like we could do Pranks or The Dorm That Dripped Blood, Sorority House Massacre, and we could kill a few birds with one stone here because of the fact that we're talking about fraternity horror and everything, sorority horror,
right,
and everything.
The Initiation is another one.
We did do that one. We did do a deep dive of that. On a separate show. Yeah, Brandon was still on the show when we did that one.
Shit. Okay, well, maybe we will do that. That's cool. I want to Final Exam. I just recently watched it again because I brought it as my segment on Jay of the Deads, and I wanted to, because I'm going in order, but I stuck in 81 a couple years because 81's such a good year. But I brought that movie to the forefront because it was the first time that we had seen it done that way. where this was an oddball, where the guy didn't have a mask on and there was no motive and
Like
showed up.
Sorority
So
House. Yeah.
I wanted to
Massacre.
highlight that movie. So Jay saw it for the first time. It was him and I talking about it, and he actually liked it. So I liked it. He liked it. We talked about it. There's a lot going on. There's a charm to it that you're either gonna fall into or not. Brandon,
Yeah.
I think, liked it.
Well, it's better. It's better looking. The to me, the dogs are the Terror 10 Killer, Fatal Pulse, Shadows Run Black. Those are the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like these other ones all have at least another element to them. The Sorority House Massacres, the Final Exam. As much as I don't like it, it's above Terror 10 Killer, Shadows Run Black, Fatal Pulse, and much more, and much more.
Oh, 100%. No, it's watch it again. We'll see. The Jess Franco, am I watching a horror film or a porno challenge?
Right. Oh, and this will be one of the, and I'm sorry, yeah, Jess Franco again. I think I saw his Dracula, and was it his Dracula? Again, not well versed, not as well versed.
All these Francos,
but when we do the slasher franchise next year, here's will be one thing for sure: no super franchises. So we'll take out the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and all that. We didn't have Leatherface in, which we kind of got some backlash on, that people that do consider it a slasher, but we set our rules in at the beginning of why we didn't include them. But ultimately, those will be all erased, and we could we'll still allow like things like that had like a remake done, like My Bloody Valentine had that in a remake. Maniac had that in a remake. The Prom Night had that in a remake. Well, Prom Night series, but if it's a franchise, then I guess we have to take it out.
It's a franchise.
Yeah.
Yep. So standalones,
or one that came out as a standalone that may have gotten one. The only other one I could think of is that one When a Stranger Calls. Now, can you call it a franchise because there's three? But yeah, but I'll rewatch them. I've wanted an excuse to rewatch them. I like that remake.
The remake, maybe. No, I've never seen it.
I liked When a Stranger Calls, but I like it for that first 20 minutes. It's fan-fucking-tastic.
Everyone does.
But the rest of the movie, I rewatched the rest of the movie thinking that I remembered it being a bore, and I liked it.
I thought.
I liked it. So, but there is a Stranger Calls Back 2, but I'm not going to consider these ones franchise because it's such a small niche one. I guess I'll make an excuse to allow that to be in there. But like Prom Night has literally 4 movies and a remake. Like, no,
well, check
that's out.
The rule is this: more than 2 becomes official. So if it's a remake and an original, or only had 1 sequel, because anything after is a trilogy, and anything after a trilogy is a franchise. So I think if it just has a sequel or a remake, it's fair game. Okay. I think that's
fair. When a Stranger Calls has both, to be honest, but because it has When a Stranger Calls Back, and then it has the remake.
You're right, but it does.
But
it's still not a trilogy per se.
No, it's an offshoot. So, but we'll cross that bridge. But I think that will cross off a few on this list: slasher talk, sorority talk, Year the Slasher Part 2, and then not focusing on the usual suspects, if you will. That list then would be quite different just based on that. So we could do 50 again. Maybe this will be for 250. Wait, yeah, maybe we'll hit 250. We'll have to look at when that show.
I gotta look at it. When the hell is this? Let's see here. 250. What are we on now?
We're at 230. We're 213, right? Or 214?
214.
214. That could work.
So September.
That's actually 36 episodes. Oh, that's a year from now.
Yeah, right. Yep. 26, 27, 29, 32, 35, 38.
Yeah, but we might have a break in February or whatever. So it might push it. So it might push it around Halloween time.
Yeah.
250. Maybe we're onto something there. Episode 250 would be Year of the Slasher Part 2.
And we're going to bring 3 guests on, so it could be 250 movies.
Maybe we do it in 3 segments. 250, 251, 252.
That could be something. That's something to think about. Hey, I'm all
Yeah.
down with slashers. That's you don't gotta convince me. Okay,
Anyway,
so
sorry, we're really running
Marco,
long here today. Holy
we're
shit.
good. Marco wants more nudity. Okay, that's cool.
Gratuitous nipple
And
shot.
yeah, there you go. See, David
That
says
was a
the last
nipple.
one here. A top 10 show like top 10 Stephen King adaptations or top 10 vampire films, something with a list. Man, I had this whole cool idea about having these top 10 lists. So much went into it, though. It required participation from everybody to basically everybody give us your top 10 Stephen King's lists, and then we compile all those together. And then we do that, and then we sit down and make our own top 10 based on a list that they made.
Oh, we could
You
do that.
understand what I'm saying?
I mean, we could
That'd be
do that,
fun.
but it would be a lot of work. But that's a good
It
way to
would
do
be a
it.
lot. It's
It-
not that much work. All it would take is them putting it in and me adding them up. I mean, it's not like it's going to be that much. It's only 10 movies. It is like a list of 100 or like last time. Anyway, or we could just do it old school style. I could give my top 10. He can give his top 10. What else? We could do that easily on the show. We
That's
could just
true.
rattle off our top 10 and then have the other one. But so yeah, that would be fun. So there you have it. That's that. What else can we say?
Oh, I think we should
Shout
get into.
Factory.
Oh, what were you going to say?
The Shout Factory summertime sale has just begun as we speak. In the middle
Fuck
of
them.
summer sausage.
Fuck them. I got fucked on.
Welcome, he says.
It's my fault because I'm in Canada, so I'd either have to get them shipped to Dave's house or not do it at all because everything that I bought the last time they did the sale, which I think was in October, I ended up getting fucked with customs, and I had to pay the amount I had to pay in customs, which wasn't like exorbitant, but it was like another 27, 28 bucks was negated any of the sale prices that I would have gotten. So fuck them.
Damn.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
Okay. Well, I won't tell you that Return of the Living Dead 4K is down to 24 in the sale.
I already have it.
Is less than 20. Sleepaway Camp, that's a 4K. Sleepaway Camp Blu-ray is only $10. Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2 4K.
I got the first Sleepaway Camp Blu-ray, and then I've got the Survivor Kit in DVD. But I will check it out. And if any, I'm just not going to order it to me. And I tell Canadians don't bother or try to get a buddy in the States. And if they have free shipping, then it's even better because then I can just get it shipped to you in the States and then pick it up at a later date. But
yeah, well, there's some sales. There are some decent prices on some of these things. So check them out. By the time you hear this, it's probably going to be over. The Final Terror? Oh, that's the slasher. What was that one that someone said before? There was a creature feature?
The Terror Within.
Terror Within, yeah, not Final Terror. Okay.
I like the Final Terror. I'm apologist for that one. I like that and Just Before Dawn. Both of those didn't make my slasher list. Maybe Just Before Dawn was left out. And I'm like, no, that would have made it. That should have made it. And when we take out these franchise ones, there's going to be a lot. So anyway, let's get into these movies and let's start into them.
I'm thinking I had to press a button. I guess I didn't. Okay, good.
Well, here, wait. Let me press this button. That's the black and white button. Look at this. Oh, we upgraded. You don't have to snap my fingers anymore. It's a push of a button.
See, that's the
button. Upgraded? Okay. I don't know. Maybe snapping the fingers is better. Oh, I almost got us back out of it by accident. I gotta watch what I'm doing over here.
Right. See, don't do that. Snap the fingers is the only way to go. See what happens? You start using the computers, you got no soul.
Okay. It's the theme of the show. It is the theme of the show tonight, for sure. Well, here we go.
No soul. All right.
Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, 1948. An hour and 23 minutes long. The Wolfman tries to warn a dim-witted porter that Dracula wants his brain for Frankenstein monster's body.
Right on. Right on.
And of course, this has the famous comedy team. And as we kind of quickly spoke about last time, they don't really make fun of the monsters. The monsters are the monsters, and they do their comedic bit, and that's why this seems to sort of work the way it does. And it's fun. I mean, this has been the best one in the last batch for sure. The last few, like in the sense of like
Hmm.
all the mashup ones. I feel like this is just a lot of fun. It's more comedy. I was worried you're going to find it too comedic, and I wasn't sure if I know you know, but Abbott Costello, but I wasn't sure what you thought of them or if you liked that. You know, Costello's like extra scared and talking in the baby voice and all that stuff.
No, no, I like their comedy. Actually, I like the way it works, and I like their. I was actually introduced to them. Of course, I knew who they were, but I was introduced to watching them when we did it on the Skeleton Crew because we did it all. We did all the stuff with them and the monsters. So there was the Invisible Man, there was the Killer, there was the Mummy, there was this one. There might have been I forgot,
I think
but
he
we
said
did them
Dr.
all.
Jekyll, which I
Doctor Jekyll,
forgot. I didn't even remember that, to be honest.
yeah, we did them all, and that one show back then when I watched them, and that was my introduction to watching their movies, and I enjoyed them then, and I enjoyed this one still. So
Yeah.
there's more I wouldn't mind seeing. I got some other ones too, but no, I like the comedy, and I like the fact that it was done the right way. They didn't make a joke of the monsters. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's just no, it was done well. There was one scene which was kind of iffy as far as making the joke the monsters, and it was the one scene with was it Costello or was it hold on, let me think about this. I want to think it was Abbott in that one. I could be wrong, could have been Costello, but there was the scene when the Wolfman, I think it was Abbott, because they thought that he was the Wolfman at one point, and then he went out into the woods, and then he bumps into the Wolfman, and then the Wolfman's coming after him, and he starts for okay, I don't want to say for no reason, but the Wolfman was like tripping over things that he wouldn't or things that wouldn't ordinarily be like objects that would really get in his way.
Oh,
Just
it was
so
almost like
happened
that
to in
feet
this,
don't fail me now. Like I get it. I know what you mean. Like he was like, I gotta get to him, and then it was like
just falling
a
over
little
a
bit
tree.
spastic. Yeah, I get it. Like,
Aside from that, but that
yeah.
was the only instance where I saw them kind of like he was used a little bit of a joke in that scene. But I mean, what are you going to do? It wasn't like egregious and it wasn't over and over. And really, as much as I've been talking about, you know, how much I like the Wolfman and Larry Talbot and Cheney's portrayal, for me, this time, I was really into Dracula. I was really into Bela Lugosi. I thought he had the best storyline going on. And it was just so good to see him with actual dialogue as opposed to what we see in 1931 Dracula, when in 1931 he speaks slowly and there isn't a whole hell of a lot of dialogue. And in this movie, Lugosi, for me, steals the show because of everything he showcased more than I think than the other ones in this movie, and he has more to do and more to say, and it's done so well. It's almost like when you think about Lugosi's Dracula, of course you think about the original, but I'm so glad we got to see him do it in this movie because I thought that he was
Well,
great.
he plays. What is his like? Like other character? Like, well, who is he pretending to be?
Lejos,
Lejos,
Dr.
and
Lejos.
so
Let me
that's
ask you,
where it's like
remember
he
the
looks like Hugh Hefner, and then when he's Dracula, he always literally has the cape in front of his face, like bridging the nose, like always. It's like it's
I guess he
crazy.
does do that a lot. Yeah, I guess he does do that an awful lot. That's true. I, but just all of his dialogue was just so good, and hear him speaking at a with a better cadence instead of just being really slow like he was in Dracula. This to me cemented him as Dracula even more so. I was like, he's really good here. And you said that
Well,
the
he was
doctor. I
he,
had a question.
yeah.
Is that the same name that the John Carradine gave in the last movie when he had to be a doctor? Was it Dr. Lejos in that one too as well?
You know what? This
Because
is where we need Alex with all his knowledge of these movies because I
I
want
know.
that, and I want to know maybe how did they get? I guess they really said no. We want Bela Lugosi back. It's got to be the original Dracula because like he's back, and obviously as we just discussed in the last two episodes, he wasn't the Dracula. It was John Carradine's, And so let me just see. Let me while we're talking about it. But that was what was interesting about this. That's why I was shocked that he was fired. Or when we went into those two that I had never seen before, the House of Dracula and Frankenstein, that John Carradine was Dracula, because I knew that he was back for Abbott and Costello. So it just threw me for a bit. So they only have him listed here as Dracula. Why don't they have him listed here as Dracula slash his other character? So I'm pretty sure John Carradine is going to probably be listed as just by Dracula. But let me look.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
look.
I don't know. But I really enjoy that. I love Larry Talbot and everything else. And it was something different than him wanting to die. And I did like seeing him. He actually looked better in this one than he did in the last couple.
Baron
I
Latos.
just Latos.
Is that what?
Okay.
Was that the same
No,
thing in? No, okay.
I think this one was Lehos. Either way, it's too close. Whatever.
Well,
it is.
Latos. Maybe I'm just pronouncing it incorrectly.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. So
But
that
I
was
think in this one
yeah.
it was Lehos because they put a
Okay.
J in there to pronounce it like it was a, Latino type of thing with a J. You know what I'm saying?
Latino
Lehos,
Dracula.
Lejos. Yeah, well, there he is. Mexican Dracula's back.
Yeah, so Mexican Dracula instead of Spanish Dracula in this case.
Oh man. But all that stuff is good. The story is good. The comedy is great. I mean, that's what it is. You just have the just Abbott and Costello when they're doing their routine. Just it lifts the movie up a bit from the same old thing about a doctor one. Again, they still do that with somebody in referencing Dr. Frankenstein stuff to bring him back and everything else. It is still there, but it is longer, of course. But it seems like the time that's filled is better filled in this one than the others because it's not just about a doctor trying to do something. It's about Abbott and Costello being in there and being, afraid and what's going on and how Costello's seeing stuff and Abbott's not seeing it. And it works out well. And the stuff with the women is good. My only beef is this. The only negative I have at all, and it's just a question. Everything else, I'm hook, line, and sinker. I don't understand why
Asleep all day.
Huh?
I don't understand why I sleep all day.
I got you. And I start to complain when there's no rain. Yes. I don't understand.
It's a random blind
why.
melon reference.
That's great. Why Dracula needs Frankenstein's monster to be any different than he is right now. Why does he want Costello's brain? Frankenstein's monster already answers to him, calls him master, is strong, and can do everything he wants to do. What does he have to gain?
It's the script. They've been wanting to change his brain,
negative in it.
But they've been wanting to change the brain. It's almost been an ongoing script element. They've been wanting to change this brain of the monster from an abnormal brain to someone else's brain for the last 5 movies or whatever. And it never happens. So I guess they just carried that element over. So it's no different because they were trying to do it they did do it. They switched it to Igor's brain. So isn't it Igor's brain now that's in there?
Either way, I don't think there's really continuity from those ones. I just think that it's in those other ones, it's necessary because he's not good for anything. And he's not listening. In this movie, he is listening and he's calling Dracula master. He is perfect. What else do you want? He's muscle for Dracula if he needs it. What else what would make him better by putting Costello's brain in him that he already has?
It's the plot. And why Costello's brain? Why not Abbott's? If Costello's the dim-witted porter, wouldn't Abbott's be the better one?
You would think. And then the girl even says to him, what does he have that I don't have? And she says a brain. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, Costello is apparently smarter.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, it's kind of weird. Well, that's the only fault in the plot where I'm like, why did they do that? But
my thing, because I mentioned I watched this earlier in the year, watched it for the show, and then I just watched the beginning part again to see if maybe I was being a little too hard, because I'm not hard on the movie. The movie's great. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I laughed. There's a lot of comedy that I'm wondering if this is where it stems from, like where we get these type of jokes, because it's that type of writing, or was that already well in play, and like, you know, Abbott Costello were already riffing on something that was already old school comedy at that time. I don't know. Like, I'm just talking about the wordplay and everything else. I mean, I know that was one of their fortes, but like, just like, why were you gone so long? Like, where he's like, call me if you need me. And he's like, like Abbott, or shit. He's like, what? He's like, I was gone 2 seconds. He's like, I'm fucking the joke up. I can't even think of it right now. But where I'm going with my point would be, or my one quibble, is that the movie's not long, but there's that scene where they're taking the monsters out of the crates at the horror house, or house of horrors, or whatever. And when Costello's by himself there and keeps having to call Chet back, or Abbott back to him, because he's scared, that goes on too long, in my opinion. It just goes on a little long while he's reading the letter, the candles going. It's almost like they could have cut out one gag. He already thought the monster, or that Dracula was trying to get out. Then Dracula could just have gotten out, and then he's not there. And then they go to Frankenstein. But it goes on. It's almost like that scene is like a chunk of the movie's time. I know it's not, but it feels like it. And it feels like we could have gotten the movie moving. We already went through all the jokes. It's like the same joke kind of recycled again. Instead of I saw a hand there. And you didn't see a hand. Come on, whatever. Then it was like candle moved. And then it seems like they do the candle thing twice. Maybe, I'm just saying, shorten it somehow. They could have easily shortened it.
I would rather see them on the screen so it doesn't bother me, as opposed to the other people that we get, that when Abbott and Costello aren't on the scene and the monsters aren't on the scene, and it's the other people plotting, and how there's the one woman and then there's the other one, and then there's what's going on. And those scenes, I could take them or leave them. I know they're integral to the plot to a degree, but if you're going to have something on the screen, I would rather be looking at that. I'd rather see the joke go too long than see the serious stuff from the other people, I guess.
And that's right. I'm nitpicking too, as I do sometimes. Like, if I say one thing that bothered me when I watch it, it's like, oh, this feels like it's going on long. So then I went back to rewatch it, and I said, yeah, I think I stand with my original argument that it goes on a little long. But I do love the physical comedy of when he's up on top of the big crate. And he's like,
the crates.
Yep. And then he falls down, and then like that guy's so uppity, the master of the House of Horrors and whatever. But they worked them all in. It feels like this one was almost the most natural of the way that they work all of the characters into it. Whereas all the other ones, like we said, Dracula just disappears or whatever. This one, it seems like they keep them, and a reason for keeping them all together.
Yeah, it's a good reason.
A good chunk of time. So,
I mean, for that, man just trying to say they're there. I know that they're there. I know that they're dangerous. That's why he's there. It's easy enough. It's fine. They get shipped because it's a House of Horrors. So it's good. And one other thing I'll nitpick. There are instances, like in the beginning, in that scene you're talking about, with Costello doing his thing and the candle and everything else. At one point, Dracula comes out and he's just standing there doing the cape thing over his face and looking. Then there's another, even if it isn't just Costello by himself, there's another scene with Abbott and him, and he's in the background. But it's like Jamie always talks about with, what do you call it? Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason doesn't lurk. Jason doesn't look around corners and is careful as to when he's attacking. He just goes. And that's like one of the problems of that movie. In this movie, there's two. Why doesn't Dracula just kill Abbott and Costello right then and there? What's he hiding for? And then later on, when Abbott goes into the room for the Wolfman, when he first changes, when he goes in that bathroom and he comes out, the Wolfman is like approaching him slowly and like being cautious. Wouldn't the Wolfman just freaking pounce and kill him like he does anybody else?
Yeah.
And Dracula just pounce. They should have written that better.
Well, I think they're going for suspense there, but there is an awkwardness upon again, I've watched this a few times, and that the Dracula, like, it almost seems like Lugosi's like, oh, am I getting my timing down right here? It almost looks like he's counting in his head. Do I move now? Do I not move? It's a very awkwardly staged. I know what they're trying to get for, like, so he plays on it. Abbott Costello thinks he's someone there. Abbott doesn't. Then he has to get out of the coffin so that they can open the coffin, prove there's nothing in there, shut the coffin. Then why does he sneak back in? Why couldn't he go somewhere else? At that
Right.
point,
What
or
does
whatever.
he have to fear? There's nobody
Exactly.
there.
And then he stands like, and then they do the thing. I thought what you're going to argue is that they do the thing where they're standing right there. And like, I know they're in a house of horrors. So there's all these things standing, and they could have played on that even more. Or Abbott like pretty much walks towards them to open up the coffin. And Dracula's right there, standing right there. But he should have been like, and then froze. And then they could have knocked it. You're like, can you get it? Like get a load of this guy or whatever. They do make a joke of the skeletons and whatever, and I like how Costello is a scaredy cat. I think it all works out. It's almost like Scooby-Doo, like constantly being afraid of things, even though they've been solving mysteries and realizing that nothing's real for years and years and years, but he's always still scared. He sells it, sells the role. I wasn't sure though, if like, because I wasn't sure if you saw these before, and like him barking at like it's just funny, like, rah, rah, like,
No, I like that.
just random shit like that. It's like, I like that comedy, but I don't even like, it comes out of nowhere. It's like, you just sees that woman's wearing that like little thing, like thing dangling around her neck. It's like a dead fox or something like that.
Right. It
Because
is.
of rah, rah. And why is it that he always gets the bad eye? Like the women love him, supposedly, even though one's doing it on, like both of them are doing it for another reason. But when he goes to get that woman's luggage, where he's like, "Oh, we haven't taken that off the cart yet. Go get it," and he pulls it out, and all the luggage falls down on him. It's like, "Oh, what are you doing? We're going to wreck this woman's bag." And he hands the woman the bag. Abbott hands the woman the bag. She's like, "Well, thank you." And it looks down at Costello like he's a piece of shit. he almost got destroyed there. To help the lady. Like,
right.
But I do like the back and forth play of get that bell, answer the phone, get the bell. What do you want me to do? Both.
Right.
Like,
no, it's great.
They're play. Obviously, they're professionals. They make it work. It's a lot of fun. Like the nitpicks are nitpicks, but the movie itself is well paced, and it's got enough comedy, and it's got all the monsters in it. It's not scary, but it's got all the monsters in it, and they all do their thing, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Definitely. No, the comedy is perfect. It's good writing. I like in the beginning with when he's on the phone call with Larry Talbot and he turns into the wolf.
Yeah.
And then he says something about why are you gargling your throat? And he goes, and then he goes, you call me all this way a long distance just to have me talk to your dog? Yeah. Oh, it's great. See, I like that stuff.
Or the revolving wall is funny. The only thing I always question is, why do they revolve, and he has to have his coffin with him? Why couldn't the coffin been left there? They could have been like, well, why is this coffin in here? I don't think it really mattered that Dracula, but he traveled with his coffin. And it's like Frankenstein carries it like it's luggage, like it's a suitcase. And that
he picks it up.
Yeah, he's like his tote bag. But it's great because when they go in there, it's that revolving, the usual hidden revolving brick wall that leads into the dungeon and the castle and whatever. But why they had to have the coffin with them when they're revolving around, I don't know. Visually,
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
didn't even realize
Frankenstein, the coffin, and Dracula.
I remember it now that you said it, but as I'm watching it, it just didn't register about a coffin. I was just trying to see what was going to happen next. But wow, I like how they have Dracula's crest on the thing and they recognize it. That all the movies they always have that, and they always recognize Dracula's crest, so that's cool. Doc notes again, and Drac using the name. Same thing.
I'm going to see if there's any trivia as to why, because I'm glad Bela Lugosi's back. Like you said, I think we both are. It's just perplexing that he came after him being fired and gone for the last two films.
Right.
But maybe that was at the request of Abbott Costello. Maybe he said, no, we need the original Dracula back for this. We need Lugosi.
And I like how Dracula does the thing, look into my eyes and does the hypnotism. We haven't
Look
seen him
into
do
my
that.
eyes.
It's
Yeah.
good stuff, man. I love him. I love Lugosi in this movie. I like the fact that it centers around the Wolfman at first, but then once he gets there, his goal is just to warn them about it and everything else and what have you. But I think Dracula kind of takes over, and I don't know. I wasn't expecting that, being such a fan of the Wolfman all this way. It was just great seeing Bella doing this, but um, I like that. I forgot all about the fact that they were exhibits at one point, and then they bring it back, and that guy shows up and he says, "Where are my exhibits?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, they were supposed to be here." And it's in other movies they might have just abandoned that part, but no, this guy comes back saying, "Hey, Dracula and Frankenstein's monster, they're my exhibits. What happened?" And they kept with it, but for some reason I forgot about it for a while. I'm glad they brought it back and they just didn't abandon it. I The one line I love, which because it doesn't make sense. People do that in movies all the time. This movie actually calls it out, and he goes, "Have you seen so and so?" And the guy goes, "Seen them?" And he goes, "I don't even know them." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. Why would you be asking them? Who is this guy that you're asking where they're at? You know, he doesn't even know
But
who the hell they are." So that was
the
good.
this is what I think Alex was referring to this last episode, where he says, it said, I didn't realize that. He just said he didn't think the writing was very strong. But it says, Lou Costello did not want to make the movie, declaring, no way I'll do that crap. My little girl could write something better than this. A $50,000 advance in salary and the signing of director Charles Barton, excuse me, the team's good friend and the man who some call their best director, convinced him otherwise. So that's how he got to do it. And I didn't realize this because we didn't do the other ones, and maybe would be a reason why not to do the other ones. But Lugosi, although he played, they say, similar vampires, ghouls, etc., he only played Dracula in Dracula 1931. This would be the
Yeah,
second and last time that
that's
Lugosi
it.
would play him.
That's what I'm saying. I knew that. That's why I was so glad he did it. He got a
Yeah,
chance to finally reprise that role.
I thought he was in those other sequels we're talking about, like Daughter of it. I guess I just assumed he would have been in it in some form or another, but
Yeah,
evidently
no, he
not.
wasn't. No,
But so it's interesting they've
pretty
got
crazy.
that, but they don't mention. Um, okay, yeah, here it was. So Ian Keith was originally considered for the role of Count Dracula, which is even more perplexing. A part he was up for in 1931 because Universal wasn't originally interested in hiring Bela Lugosi. But I don't understand. Again, I guess they said they owe it to him. He is Dracula. You owe the road to the Lugosi's when it says here in the trivia. But why in this case then would they be going for another person, a third party, over John Carradine? Then was it John Carradine or one of the Carradines? That was
Yeah,
whoever was
right.
Dracula the last two.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so
Right.
that's even more bizarre to me.
Well, I guess they wanted someone who's going to be able to feed off the comedy, and maybe the Carradine was too serious. I don't know. Hard to say what they were going with. Why? It's just like one of those decisions. Like the guy didn't want freaking Kane Hodder to be Jason. I don't know.
So and this is good too because you're right. It doesn't really. I had mentioned that maybe it was following the chronology, but it really doesn't. So they said that although they reprise the roles from earlier films, this is not considered to be part of the continuous storyline. Therefore, there is no need to explain, for example, why Larry Talbot is a werewolf after being cured in House of Dracula.
That's what I said. I think they're
Yeah,
just ignoring all that stuff. It's just
yeah. Sorry, I
it's
think you were
almost
saying
like
things and I was reading things at one point. So yeah, but anyway.
this is what it is. All you need to see is the first Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride, and the original Wolfman, and then go right to this movie, and you have everything you need.
Yeah.
Honestly, and who's to even say you need Bride? I don't even know for certain that you do. All you need is their origin story. You need the Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and this movie, and that's it. They're ignoring all the other ones because they were B movies, where these other ones were not. Like Alex was saying, you know what I mean? These were. So I just think that's what they were doing. They were just see once again. People talk about they criticize modern movies, particularly Halloween or Texas Chainsaw, for having different timelines and doing different things. When right back here, They ignored all these other movies. And there were more movies to ignore because Wolfman had more movies, Dracula had more movies, and Frankenstein's monster did. They ignored them all. And like to my what I'm saying, they have the origin stories. You can go right from the origin movies right to freaking that movie, to Abbott and Costello. And it looks like that's all they were concerned with doing.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure. But
I think
again, shitloads of fun.
yeah.
I I guess I wasn't even thinking of a rating. I don't know why we rate all of our movies, and I didn't even think of it. If I have to give one, I would probably just give an 8. Like, it's a solid movie. I could rewatch this one. Like you said, you could just pop it on. I mean, it'd be nice to watch the original ones, of course, like the original original Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and the original Wolfman, just to get some background to these characters. But you could just literally, as long as you know them, you could pop this on anytime and just have fun with it.
No, it's got really good writing. The comic writing is great. The timing and like some of the lines are just like, he's like, oh yeah, I turn into a wolf at night or something. This and he goes, oh, you and 20 other million men, 20 million other guys. He says, and then he attacks him. And then the one guy, he goes, so you understand women? He said, and just like some of the stuff, he goes, I don't even try. It's great. I don't even try to understand women. I love that. And that was way back then. And I like the stuff when you see the bats in the eyes. When he looks in the girl's eyes and knows that she's possessed by Dracula, that's a good effect when you see the bats in her freaking eyes. I love that, man.
Is this the way? Now, I must be this movie where have you gone bats too? Doesn't he say that? If you and then that's like batshit crazy, like batty. I guess batty's where it comes from. But he says, have you gone bats too? And I was thinking, oh, that's like, I instantly, instead of going to batty, went batshit crazy in my head, which was funny. You got bats too?
Bats, huh? Yeah, probably. And we finally get to see Frankenstein's monster on a rampage. He actually kicks some ass. He gets out there, he picks up that one woman and he throws her to her death for no reason. He just gets up and he goes on this rampage. I'm like,
I tell you, he loves chucking people through like windows and shit.
It's good. I like seeing it happen.
I like seeing it happen. Anyway,
no, it's really good. It's I'm with you though. I would say 8 out of 10. So
yeah, and a nice little cameo by the Invisible Man.
Oh yeah, which I wish they would have followed up in the next one. That always pisses me off when they do something
like a voice,
and then yeah, they have Vincent Price doing it, and then in the next movie it's not Vincent Price. I don't know why they have Price do that voice. Well, either way.
Maybe he was just kicking around on set that day.
It's great when it happens though, when they jump out of the boat and everything. That was cool. That was clever.
Such a quick ending though. So, and that's what I wanted to bring up. Do you think Freddy versus Jason took a page out of this one? Because it's like a dock at the end of the thing, just like at the climax of Freddy versus Jason, set on fire, and she puts gasoline down, and this guy puts gasoline down, and they set him on fire. So Jason being there, it's Frankenstein.
Yeah, they're outside by the water.
Yeah,
too.
And then Frankenstein goes down and gets killed, and again it's one of those quick endings. He's like literally you see Frankenstein fall down and then or to his death, and then Costello, they're in the boat. Abbott and Costello are in the boat together. He goes, well, that takes care of that guy. Now another thing, if you and then all of a sudden that's when the Invisible Man lights up a cigarette. So you just see a cigarette floating in the air and lights up. He goes, oh, you mean me or whatever? And then the movie ends with them jumping out, and then it says the end. But it's such a quick that takes care of that guy, and then he goes right into it's boom, band done, like they did back in the day.
That's how it should be. No, I think that's great. I don't think, and I do want to call attention to the Wolfman and Dracula when they plunge to their death, supposedly. How he jumps all the thing and grabs the bat. That's freaking great, man. That's cool. The bat. I do love that bat. I love that whole bat situation. I really do. Even the animated thing when he comes and he turns and then he goes back into the count. It's all cool.
This one they went full animated. I think they did the animated in another one too.
Yeah,
they played with the shadow turning into him, and this one he fully turns into him. Like you see him fully do it. Yeah, it was
for
cool.
The time. But I don't think that Freddy and Jason took a page from it because I don't think Ronnie Yu He didn't even watch
Freddy who?
freaking a Freddy and Jason movie. Why is he going to watch Abbott
Like
and
he didn't write
Costello
the
meet
script.
Frankenstein and do that?
True. I guess you're right.
I mean, maybe it's something to
It's
ponder. I just
very
think
the first thing I thought of when they went down to that dock and they set it ablaze with Frankenstein on it was Freddy and Jason, to be honest.
yeah,
Like, oh
but
wow.
it's a great ending,
Yeah.
and I love it. And it's a fun movie. It's pretty good stuff. It's definitely better than the last 3 or 4 that we've seen. So, oh, I forgot to do my math. I got to do the math. I got to figure out what's going to come higher. I got to go back to all the shows and figure that out. Damn it.
Oh, we can always do that on our BS show next too.
That's true.
We can always
there's no
take
problem.
the time to do it, and not rush it here.
You're correct.
Let me hit this magic button again before I forget. And we're down to our last film here, but hold on. Let me take us out of black and white here. Let me hit the right button here. There we go.
Nice.
And
what a way to finish it all. What a way to finish it all with this movie, which is completely slept on, in my opinion. I think that maybe people don't love it because of comparisons or something, but I think this is a movie that if you've just seen it one time, go back and watch it again, because for me, it gets better with every viewing. And Christian has said that the last show, that for him, it's getting better with it. And I've already loved it since the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
it just keeps getting better for me.
So that movie's Hellraiser, 2022. A take on Clive Barker's 1987 horror classic, where a young woman struggling with addiction comes into possession of an ancient puzzle box, unaware that its purpose is to summon the Cenobites. And directed, of course, by someone who, as Dave mentioned earlier, has been just hitting it out of the park, David Bruckner, and he's involved in that supposed Friday the 13th series coming up, so I'm excited about that too. And David, so formal. Dave also Bruckner mentioned how I've come up on it. And I think I said it was like a 6 out of the gate because I was bored by it. I didn't really like the Cenobites initially. I didn't like the characters, and I was an asshole because now I'm not bored by it. I like the characters and I like the Cenobites. I like the characters more than I like the initial issues I had are non-issues anymore. So then I watched it again and went up to a 7, and now it's probably more of an 8, 8.5. I'm shooting my load out of the gate because it's already up there, and it feels like it's right there with the originals. Like, takes a page out of it. Everything that we were talking about that was missing in these damn sequels that we've been watching is all here. You've got Cenobites galore, Pinhead galore, different form, but pretty much true to the original story. And then a puzzle box that has actually a fucking puzzle box for the first time really in this whole series that actually changes into anything other than the Leviathan mode. And you get all these different aspects to it, plus great gore and great Cenobites, and the music is back. Even though it's not Christopher Young doing it personally, it's his cues and his music.
But later on it comes in. Yes.
But it's not him. It's just his music, but it's a different composer.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Right. But oh my gosh. And David Bruckner. So this is his record now. The Signal. A lot of people like it. 2007. Okay. So The Signal, VHS, Southbound, The Ritual, The Night House, and Hellraiser.
Yeah.
I tell you, he hasn't missed. This guy's freaking great. And even more so for me now, because I need to watch The Night House again. I think that's another one that
I was very high on that. Yeah.
Coming up. I was too. I like an 8, but I think it might even be better than that. And I think I want to watch it again, but this movie
was high on too.
Man, oh man. I have so many notes, you wouldn't believe it. I could talk for an hour and I'm not going to, but this is how much I took out of watching it again last night. I just don't understand this movie to me. It was kind of like when The Descent came out. When The Descent came out, I really liked it. And then it just kept going up each time. And now I think it's incredible.
Pretty much just like me.
There you go. Yeah.
Except I didn't like it. And again, kind of like this, it's almost, that's why it's a good parallel for me too. Because like this out of the gate, I was like, ho hum on it. if not like almost coming down on it. And then the Descendant we just rewatched it and loved it. And this one, it's like you said, I totally agree, man. And I think it will just continue to go up. It only can go up so much higher, but I mean, it's so good
Yeah,
and it
it's a
looks
great
amazing.
movie. Yes. Oh boy, it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. The colors that they use, the cinematography, it's a feast for the eyes. Some scenes, it really is. There's so much going on with it, and this could just as easily been another Hellraiser sequel. Who's to say? It's
Yeah.
just no different than the other one. It's just a different take. And here it is. Granted, I know they want this to be the reboot because it's a reimagining of the original material, which they did do stuff like that. And like the look of the Cenobites is more what Barker envisioned because he's in on this creatively. And the presentation of the Cenobites and other things were more like it. They weren't going to go with the, what do you call it? The S&M look from as they were talking about it from the late 80s, because it that look has actually gotten like too mainstream now, just to have leather and chains or whatever. And so the look of them in this, every time the Cenobites are on the screen, any of them, it commands your attention. They are so good. The presentation, the look of the Cenobites, the way they talk, the things they do, it's like their aura just takes over the whole freaking movie every time they come in there. Just like the scene when you first see them in the first movie when they all come out. But in my opinion, this would be controversial, but overall, these are the best Cenobites in the whole franchise. The group of Cenobites in this movie,
Yeah,
top
I
notch.
I think so because really at the end of the day, although I have nostalgic value with Pinhead, Pinhead's still here, just in a different form, and Trank Woman is kind of reimagined here. The fat blubberball guy with the sunglasses. I mean, I could take her. And you got you
Butterball's
got a
just there.
and you got a chatter.
Chatterer.
You got one here now too. Like, and
The
it's
best
freakier.
one.
It's freakier, man.
Dude,
So
yes.
I can't necessarily disagree with you. It just
They look great.
yeah, and they shifted again. Like these are not kids, but they're like young adults. So instead of dealing with someone that like, seemingly people in their 40s, like in the original one, you're dealing with people kind of in their 20s here. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's business and that's relatable and whatever. And of course, now this is a new movie, so you're gonna get the usual characters that you would get like from a film that's been made in the last 5 years, meaning that they're not all straight white people. But what irked me initially was that the brother was gay, and I just can't. No, that's not what I get. What irked me initially is that it just felt, oh, here we go again with that bruised, that girl that's tortured. She's trying to overcome addiction, and it felt like an offshoot of all these bad sequels initially. And I was like, I'm not interested in them. And I thought her and her brother's relationship seemed forced. And I'm like, what was I thinking? Because upon
Yeah.
rewatch, I have none of those problems. So again, I guess I must have just been so giddy and anticipating something that I wasn't experiencing on the screen, and not just enjoying it for what it was, but what I wanted it to be, which I sometimes do. I can't deny that. And I think I just at the end was like, oh, get on with this. I was enjoying it for certain aspects, but I was just thinking it was overstaying its welcome initially. Now all of that's erased. All of that I feel like was just
Awesome.
me being a moody dick. And yeah, there's a lot to enjoy here. And like even so that guy, so the guy that we open with that ends up being kind of like I'll just call him the Frank, even though he's not really but like
Well,
he wants to
it's
know the
cool.
pleasures of what's in the box, or what will bring him. Do they essentially turn him into like a human puzzle box almost, right? Like, isn't that what that gizmo kind of is doing? It's like twisting his like tendons or organs ever so slowly internally.
It is, but I don't think it's for the reason of a puzzle box. It's for the reason of sensation. It's for the reason of the torturous stuff, because that's all it's doing. They thought that he would enjoy sensation. Sensation wasn't his thing. See, he is a combination of Frank and Dr. Chenard
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah,
Perfectly. That's this movie. we've said it so many times. If you're going to remake a movie, remake it. And this falls in to the same line that freaking Maniac does and that the Evil Dead does, where you take what you have, you change the mythology a little bit, and you still tribute the original and give it the respect that it deserves, and just do a little more with it and not try to do exactly like it, but have your own mythology. But they tributed the first two movies completely in this movie. This is freaking a love letter to the first two movies in so many ways. I don't understand. Again, I'm going to keep, I don't, how people don't love it. I think, like with you, it's a combination of, and it happens all the time, it's subverting expectations. So you go into a movie that has a title that you already know, and you know it's going to be a remake. You hear all the stuff coming up. We're going to have it. It's going to be played by a female this time. And there was all that controversy about them being androgynous and whatever. So you're going into this movie, you already have expectations because it's a property, not just you, anybody. And you go into the movie and you can't help but compare. And then you can't help but think about modern film versus the film in the 80s and the way things were presented and what's going on. And so once you cast that aside, which you usually don't do the first time you watch it, I've done it. So I understand this. You have to watch it a second time to truly start to get into it. That's the problem. You can't watch a movie like this once. And I'm not making excuses. I don't think I had to make an excuse because it's so damn good. Even the beginning, the opening shot, the score, when it comes in, when you see Serena show up to make that exchange, do you realize she's dressed the same way freaking Julia is in the first Hellraiser when she seduces the men at the bar? So there's all this fanboyisms for the first two. They're all over this movie.
Usually I catch stuff like that. I didn't catch that. That's awesome.
There's so many things. And I love how the chains come out when they go to Dr. Voight, when they go to Voight's place in the beginning, and this rich guy, and when the chains come out, when the kid opens it up, and the way this is the best way chains have ever come out in a freaking in a Hellraiser movie. Just and they pull them up, they lift them up, and then it is so good. And then the freaking dialogue when he's there, it is 100% like lifted. You couldn't get more Clive Barker dialogue if you tried. Like when he comes up there and he says that I am a penitent, he says, "Grant me this audience, grant me this boon." Just that type of dialogue, that is Clive Barker freaking to a T. It is so good. And then it goes away, and then you see the Leviathan shape, and then oh my god, all the stuff they do with the
they do play around with the Leviathan too, like when they've got that shape, when it opens up, it kind of looks like they took just a slight page from the design of the labyrinthian, like sort of maze from Hellbound, right? They don't hide it. They showed it to you, right. So you're like, oh, that's cool. And I think he ascends from it. One of the Cenobites ascend from it, so that's really cool too. And the creation of the Cenobites is really, really cool. I don't know why the people were like having problems because they what are people's hangups in this? Like my hangups were
honestly, we don't know.
Were much not even story related, really, because I find that the story's solid here. It was more I think it was expectation related, which again, I'm not even too sure why I was so miffed, because this actually checks off everything. And I said, I don't know if it just comes after watching a stream of ho-hum to okay entries, possibly, but no, I watched this and rewatched it and said, oh, I had a sick of my ass the second time I watched it. And this is much better than I gave it credit for. And then this time I thought even more so. I'm like, oh, I should have saved this and watched this with my daughter, because even if she wasn't interested in any of the Hellraiser movies, she would probably like this one. And Carrie, my wife, doesn't like the Hellraiser movies. Haven't been for her. Never got into them. I bet she would like this one.
Sure. Well, I want to show Francesca the original and this, because I think she'd love them both, to be honest. And I think she's ready at this age. But it's like, I don't know what people's problems are. I honestly do not. This is one of the best horror movies I've seen in years. I think that it is there's no comedy in it. It's scary. everything that's I love what they do with the six configurations of the box and
Yeah.
what they represent and how they have that. I'm a sucker for mythology, and when they do that stuff, I love it. But it's like, so it's almost like this is what they are. Lament is life, lore is knowledge. These are as they go up. Laudorant is love, liminal is sensation, Lazarus is resurrection,
yeah.
and Leviathan is power. And these are the thing. They finally spoke a little more about how there can be rewards and what they can be. And you always heard in the early ones that angels to some, devils to other, and what's that? And you've questioned some things. And I'm like, we talked about it when we talked about Hellraiser. I'm like, well, how is that rewarding? And he goes, well, for some people that like that, it is rewarding if sensation, and even if that sensation is pain,
having my
if
balls
they've
split to the side of my face. You should have a Balchinian guy, like
right?
That'll be our Cenobites.
I know, right? Well, speaking of Cenobites, that Gasp one, which is one of the first ones we see, it's called Gasp. The other one's called the Weeper. I think I have written down, but the Gasp one, it's what do you call it? It takes two earlier Cenobites that they've been in the franchise and combines them. So first we have Frank and Chenard combined with the one character. Now this one they have the skin of the throat being cut out and modified into a vaginal shape, similar to the female Cenobite of Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, sometimes called Barbie, that one. And then the skin of the scalp being stretched and pulled down to the shoulders, like the Angelique Cenobite in Bloodline.
Yeah, exactly.
The other female.
But they are all better recreations. And
oh man.
And I had problems with the voice. I admittedly the first time I have no again. I'm okay to admit when I'm wrong. I was like, I don't know what I had an issue with. It's all good now. It's all enjoyable. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's so enjoyable that I say I want to rewatch it, and I don't need a movie to be always perfect. I've said some of the ones. I don't think there's anything that'd be 100% perfect. They'll be close, but not 100%. What about that one scene where that girl gets that needle stuck through her throat, and we get that the shot from inside her throat of it
that
going
Argento
through.
shot?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
No, oh my God, it's so good. And that's the first time we actually see. Well, first we see the Hell Priest real quick in a glimpse when Riley's on that thing spinning, and she just sees it for a second. But then you don't see it again until later, and that's the first time you see it when they go to kill their roommate, the first girl, and then it's like an hour into the film, and then you see the new Pinhead, the Hell Priest, and even the way it stands is great. It has it puts its hands here. It just, there's all these little tiny nuances, and it works so. And then when it speaks, it has a high voice and it has a low voice. It's overmodulated. Yeah, they couldn't have done this back in the day, but I think that's the beauty of it. Don't try to make it like another Pinhead, like a Doug Bradley delivering his lines like they did in the other movies, like the last two, which is fine. But for this movie, being as fantastical as it is, it's the only move to make. It fits in with the presentation of the movie because it's a nice movie to look at. There's good sounds, there's colors, there's lighting, everything. There's all this good stuff going on. I think it's perfect that they overmodulated or whatever they did with all their voices. It fits right in, and it's more scary than anything we've seen since Doug Bradley in the first two. Just
for sure. This is definitely the most horrific imagery since those ones as well. Now, what about just refresh my memory because I'm forgetting. How did the boyfriend get involved? How did that main guy get him involved to try to bring the souls there so that he can be free, essentially? Like,
what you're asking me how they met and when they met? You mean? Because
I mean, did they explain that? Because all the way it's presented to us in the story is he tells his girlfriend, knows that she'll be intrigued, but is playing off of that, but say, no, I don't want to get you involved. And of course, that makes her want to be involved. And he says, we gotta, I know of this shipment that should have a lot of money in it, and of course it's just the puzzle box. And
Hmm.
so they get the puzzle box out of it, and that's what starts it. But then as she decides to find out more about what's going on because her brother's gone, it brings her back. She realizes it's traced back to this house and that guy, and whatever the guy was gone missing, as the reporters or the news reports have it. So she goes back, and then the crew knows that she's there because they come back to get them. So that boyfriend is involved, and brings them, knowing that this is all exactly what they want. So they all end up there, but we don't know how he was. Did they never explain what the connection was between the boyfriend and that other guy? Did they?
Well,
I I can't remember
the
now.
the connection is that guy paid him
Just simply paid
to
him. Okay.
go find, because he said he's doing it. He's doing what he's doing. I forgot what the line was, but he says he's gonna continue to listen to me because I'm paying him to,
Oh yes.
and
Okay.
because
So it's as
it's
simple
the
as
best
that.
job he's had in his miserable life or something. So he paid him to go find someone to open up to do the other parts. He doesn't want to do it. He's going to get hurt. So he's going to find some other patsies to do it. And that's probably why he went to a 12-step program to find people that were weakened. You know what I mean? That people that had things going on and that maybe be chasing more, or again chasing more because now they're not doing drugs, so they're looking for some other sensations, maybe, or maybe they're
Yeah.
drawn to it, or what have you, or quick money. So he's able to go there to recruit somebody, and he just so happens to recruit her, and then he
Do you
starts
think he
having
wanted to
feelings
recruit
for her.
her though? So you do think he wanted to recruit her, but then started having feelings for her because he says he
Correct.
loves her,
That's what
and
I'm
that's what
saying.
freaks her out. So you
All
think
right.
it wasn't his plan to obviously, but he does broach the idea to her. Otherwise, if he didn't really want to bring it up to her, he would have never brought it up. So I'm wondering if it was all an act, and he doesn't really love her, and whatever. But I
No, he
guess
does, because he can see. You see as it goes on that he's trying to prevent her from doing it, and then he tries to give it back. He wants to get rid of it. Don't you remember that? There's that whole thing when they go and they see Serena in the place,
oh yeah,
and it's
yeah,
almost
yeah.
like
When they go
Serena
to,
knows
yeah,
something,
the
right?
oh my god, the woman that recruited the guy at the beginning, who
Right.
told him to meet him
So
now, to meet him in the room. Yes, that whole scene
it,
in the asylum.
yeah, so she kicks him out in a way. She says, I need water. She tries to get him out of the room, and you can see that she waits till he's gone. And then she tells the girl, you're in trouble. You got to get rid of this box. Everything. Now, the kid wants to get rid of it too. And that's why he steals it and everything else. So I think after things get started going, then he's like, yeah, I'd rather this go to somebody else. Or I don't know exactly what what's going on in his head, but I think maybe just like he says at the end, he even gets mad because
Well, at that
the
point, her
boyfriend of
her
the brother.
brother's been the brother's been taken, so she's in. She's not going anywhere anyway. She's already in because she wants to find out what's going on with her brother.
That's exactly, well, it's all she
Yeah,
cares about is
that's
getting him
it. Like,
back.
so, I mean, at this point, I don't think he can get rid of her. She's already in because she's not about to give up because she's down the path. So I guess that explains it as well.
But he also says to the guy at the end, Voight, he's like, you didn't have to do that, because he tried to kill the other guy, the boyfriend of her brother, and he got mad because he didn't want, even though those two didn't get along really, for they seem to be at odds a little bit a couple times. He still didn't want him to get killed. He still didn't want him to be a sacrifice for this. So he was like, you didn't have to do that, because he yelled at the freaking Voight guy, because you could have, because you trapped the monsters. You could have freaking stabbed them. You didn't have to take it out on him. It just like he said earlier, it goes, when the guy does
Yeah.
finally find him, when he gets the box and he confronts him and he says, hey, he goes, what are you doing? He goes, listen, I'm sorry it's taken longer than possible, but it's still happening. It's not going to be her, but she's still passing it around to other people, and the sacrifices will be made. It's just not going to be her. It's still making its rounds. It's still going to happen, he was telling him. So he does actually care for all of them, but he finds it out as it starts. Maybe he has second thoughts.
Well,
I
I mean,
don't know.
she had no problem choosing him at the end. Well, he went for it. I know he went for it, but then she stabs him at the end
Well,
for.
and she should have,
Yeah,
considering.
I like when she stabs the Cenobite as well. I love that part where, and then
And then what
gets
happens
torn apart.
after?
Yeah,
Dude, so cool. Like Cenobite politics, you
yeah.
know? You know,
Cenobite Paul, but it's true. But
yeah.
so the that's fine. I mean, you answered the question, and again, it's all there because it's just like more of an issue of me remembering the scenes. But yeah, it's all there. I just thought they painted, although he had some possible remorse, he still seemed like he was still out for himself at the end. The boyfriend, her boyfriend.
Well, he just wanted to get out. He didn't care. He just wanted, probably by that time he just wanted to live. I don't know if he
I,
was out for himself except for survival.
and I do like how they all are weakened by the loss of blood and moving very
It's
slow
great.
at the end as well. Like you don't see that too often. They usually bounce right back and they're able to run and every like they're
Right.
really having trouble
Yeah.
getting around after that. So those are a little cool, like pieces of reality within like this sort of fantasy horror film as well. But yeah, really cool stuff.
Man, the only thing I don't like, my only complaint is that once they're in once the Cenobites are like whatever on Earth or doing their thing, when, because here's the thing, a Cenobite could just show up anywhere, and I'll talk more about a couple of those scenes, but it could show up anywhere whenever it wants, right? Granted, the box is open or what have you. Now, when the guy traps them because of freaking a gate, it doesn't seem like, why would a gate trap something that doesn't even have a real physical
It seems like
realm?
it can Freddy Krueger its way through it, a la the original Nightmare,
Well,
just walk right through it almost.
we'll look at it this way. Anytime the Cenobites show up, they show up out of nowhere. They materialize into thin air, right? Now, we never see when they leave, if you've noticed, in any Hellraiser movie, but you always see when they appear and they go and they kill, and then the scene ends or whatever they're doing. So you're going to tell me that if a Cenobite is put in a cage, it can't get out? Why wouldn't it just freaking, it's got to go back to where it came from initially. A Cenobite should be able to appear anywhere because they always could. So why wouldn't it just vanish and then appear in the room it wants to be in? That's the only thing, is humanizing them in that one scene is the only knock I have in the movie. But
Yeah,
so be it.
yeah. It's funny because when I was rewatching it, I was fine with it, but you do make a valid point because I was like, oh, because first thing I thought of, oh, they're ripping off, they're doing the reverse of what that line was at the end of Halloween 2018, where it's like it's not a what is it? It's not a trap. It's not a cage. It's a trap. And instead,
Something
it
like
was
that,
like
yeah.
this one. It's not a trap. It's a cage. Almost. It was like the reversal of it. It was not quite the same, but that's what I thought of. Like, oh, they kind of
Right.
took a note from that and
I
did this
thought that
way.
too.
And and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like his revolving, his whole thing. It was almost like he was making a puzzle box of that room. So that's the only thing I can maybe think about, is maybe the way that he constructed it was like to mimic the puzzle box, so that
He
they
did too.
couldn't,
You're right.
well, so that they couldn't get through, because it essentially acts as the puzzle box and locks them in. Maybe
Huh.
maybe that
That's
could be
not
the
bad.
explanation for it,
That's
because
not bad.
that's what he's doing. He's making that, like, everything revolving. That's why they got the lights and the switches or whatever. Which it also makes it cool when they flick it open.
Oh,
And then he gets what he wants, but then it leads to something else. The Chenard um, Uncle Frank dude. He
right.
yeah.
Voight.
So he
Yeah.
gets the
Oh,
thing, he
I
gets the
loved
thing
it.
taken out, and that's really a gory sequence,
Oh,
and it, like, it made my skin crawl, no pun intended, like as you see it sort of closing up, and but
they're
then he
rebuilding
gets,
organs, just like in the original.
yeah.
When you see
It was
Frank
after a dog
resurrected.
pissed on him too. I don't know if you noticed that. It was like a hound from hell pissed on him, and then his organs all came back together. And then
And then they
the
skim the
movie kind of
peel.
ends. And the movie ends, and then he gets this whole beautiful sequence of
I
being
love
turned
that.
into that. Oh, that sequence is phenomenal. The way it looks, how they, this peeling of the skin, the
Yeah,
ripping,
man.
back. Like you're
Yeah.
talking about CG gore mixed with practical. This movie does it beautifully where you're not like, oh, that looks too CG. I didn't say that looked too CG for any of this stuff at
Right.
all. They
Right.
did it beautifully. And
They did.
I'm just assuming it's CG based on how they've done some of the things,
Right.
but that's how good it looks. Like it could have been practical.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. And then the other stuff after, then they started they peeled the skin off the other guy right after that scene. Not after that scene you're talking. I'm talking about when the guy's rebuilding, when everything first comes
Yeah.
out and you see his stuff rebuilding. Then you see the boyfriend and he's laid
Oh,
on the thing and
the
they're
rep.
peeling his skin off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
dude. It's
yeah.
awesome. And then
Yeah.
earlier on in the movie, the way some of the Cenobites looked when they freaking it goes back to the flesh and the blood when you just see the muscle and you see the blood on it, like you saw in the first two Hellraisers.
Yeah.
This is just like those in those respects. There's so many things and I also love the part that you go on a trip, you freaking, and it looks like, what do you call it? Though some of those scenes, same director that they did in The Ritual. When remember he would flash back to the freaking they would haunt him in the woods and he would flash back to the liquor store and all of a sudden the woods turned into and it
it'd
opened
be
up.
half woods, half liquor store. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
And then it turned into this.
Yeah.
That's what they did here. When somebody got the prick on their hand and the freaking they bled and they got, what do you call it? They turned into, they're going to Cenobite world now. They're they've done their thing. Wherever
is that more fun than Disney? Cenobite world.
Cenobite world.
Yeah.
They get taken to their place. They're physically in the back of the car, like the one, or the one kid's physically in the bathroom, right? It's almost like a Nightmare on Elm Street or It. They take it to another level where in their mind this happens, like the girl in the back of the car, and then next thing you know, the car stretches out and she can't see the people in the front. I love that sequence. So she gets taken to another place, but where they sit, she's just in the back of the car.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Nightmare on Elm Street or like they did with the new It. I think that's so cool. I love the way it looked. It reminded me of The Ritual when it stretches out and it opens up and now you're in a different realm. You're in their realm now. And this is what they're going to do to you. I love that. What a great addition.
Well, it was like,
it was like smart things.
When taking that Hellraiser thing where the walls would open up and whatever, and we've seen it throughout the series or whatever. It's almost like, well, what happens if you're in a moving van? And that's kind of what was happening. It's like the dimension was opening up, but they were in a moving van. And so you're right. I love that too, where she looks like they're way up. It looks like they're a kilometer in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Even like the girl Serena, when after she leaves and she does her thing, and then it looks like you see the wall open up, and I'm like, oh, that looks like the labyrinth from freaking part 2. And then what happens with her? Same thing, and she's got the breathing thing on, and they come for her, and that's when you first see that one, the Asphyx, I think is that name of that first one. But see, they had the Asphyx, they had the Weeper, they had the other, what's the other one that I said? But the Gasp, all these new Cenobites. And I loved it. And the Chatterer was the best Chatterer we've ever seen. It was vicious. It was freaking great. But there's so much. I'm a sucker for the backstory and the mythology. And just in the first time we see that girl killed, when he puts the thing to, and we see Hellraiser, when we see the Hell Priest talk, and the things that are said, and the one says, "Save your breath for screaming." There's so many good lines in this movie. Yes, they repeat a couple from the first two. But everything else they say, this hasn't.
But that's fan service again. The
hasn't been written this good since the first two. That's what I'm saying. You have one
to show you, right? Like that. That's the big one. But they had it. It's almost like that's the nod. I mean, I'm not holding that against the movie. That's the cool nod. They did that to totally get that from the fans. But I'm sure some people are like, oh, come on, man. Couldn't come up with something different.
No, but they did one or two old ones, but then they did a bunch of new ones. Yeah. So it's like, why not? That's what I'm saying. There's one, there's two, and there's this one. If you want an accurate an accurate Hellraiser movie that fits alongside with the first two, this is it. It's not exactly, and I'll tell you what, the way they brilliantly held back on the freaking score, where it's a very familiar sounding score for a bit. Then at the right friggin' time, when when Rye goes into that place and sees what's going on. It's like an hour into whatever it is. It's the score comes in and it's very mellow at first. It's just the precursor to the big
Yeah.
boom. And
Yeah.
she's looking through the freaking papers and learning about the mythology of the configuration and what's going on. And it is done so perfectly. And then it swells and then it comes in. Boom. That when that happened there, and then again at the end, I get
That's great.
goosebumps. It,
Yeah.
it, it takes me right back to the first two of being that age almost and experiencing those Hellraiser movies, which owe so much to the
I
score.
remember Derek when this
Oh
came
my
out.
God.
Derek pointed that out. And he said that was when that happened. He got goosebumps, or he loved it.
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with that. It's great. And you're right. It's almost like they purposely held back on that. It'd be no different
Mm-hmm.
than in the Friday the 13th series if they held up like if there was no until like
Right.
some last minute of the very last episode of the first season or something like that.
Well,
Where
kind of like
it's
what they
going to
did with the
happen
remake.
in that epic part.
That's what they
Yeah,
did with the remake there too. They only brought it in a couple times. But when he found the mask and then another thing, and like in the intro, they did it. They used it, but they didn't. It wasn't their main thing the whole time. So they remade the movie the right way. They put that stuff in there. There's
yeah.
just so much stuff. There
Well, I'm
really
hoping
is.
there's going to be a follow up to this. I mean, I'm
Oh
assuming
man,
there's got to be.
was it successful? I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, it's hard to tell when it goes right to streaming. I don't know what the success rate is on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either. But I know a lot of people don't love it. I feel like I love it more than everybody, and it boggles my mind that everyone didn't get the same experience that I
Well,
did.
I've
I'm
gone
just
up
like, wow.
twice, so yeah, like I said, I'd say I'm comfortably between an 8 and an 8.5 now too. Like it's great.
Oh, did you notice that the one was a reveal like The Shining? Did you notice that Shining thing when she goes to hug? What do you
Oh,
call it? Is it her
well,
brother or is
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. The brother. I was going to mention that because that's where they look like the skin people from 1 and 2 a lot. So
Mhm.
you're getting that and The Shining. But I thought they're giving you a
Yeah.
double whammy. I guess you're getting the Shining reference there, but I thought it was like also a callback to the originals of
Well,
just
yeah, it
touching that
definitely is.
gross. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just the same thing happened in The Shining. He saw in the mirror that she was all gross and stuff, and that's
yeah.
what happened here. Same as that. Look at this. They do the Shining thing. I never miss a Shining thing. I like to say, but yeah, everything. Okay, for me, it's still a 9 out of 10. I almost feel like I can go higher though. Last night, I loved it. Every time I watch it, I love it more and more.
You
It's
can go
just,
as wherever you want to go with it, Dave.
yeah, I
Asphyx.
don't know. I don't I don't know if I'm ready to do that because then all of a sudden, if I go higher than a 9, I've only given part 2 Hellbound a 9. So to go higher than Hellbound, I don't think I'm ready to say that. And then if I
Man's
go
favorite
higher than
movie.
a 9, now it's my number 1 movie instead of Pearl, which was my number 1 movie, which was also a 9 last year. Now I'm thinking, why do I like this more than Pearl? Then I think about Pearl, I'm like, I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. I'm at that spot right now. Which one I like better, not by comparison, but man, I think it's so well done. I wish I could talk more because I have so many notes. There is so much good things in this movie that I can't believe how much it's overlooked. And all the character stuff is great. Just little nuances, man. Little things like she threw the pills away
Oh,
when she had the fallout with her brother and everything else, and the boyfriend, he said, don't leave, and everything that's going on in their relationship. And then what happens? She throws the pills away, and then she ended up going back and get 3 more. You thought she was going to beat it, so you're pulling for her. And then later on, what happens with the wish at the end of the movie? I'm thinking, is this a bittersweet ending? Did she make the right choice? Because clearly you can see that wishes can be granted. Like you saw what happened with the guy when he ascends because they discover that his real lure was power. So, okay, you're going to get power. Perhaps we were wrong about you, Hell Priest says. Let's see. So then gets anointed power. Now he's happy, right? So now, what if she would have said, I want my brother back? and she
Yeah.
did everything she was supposed to do. Would he have gotten back? And is that stinger at the end? So us as the viewer can ponder that, saying, "Wow," because they even said, "Did you make the right decision?" Because she said, and
I
she
don't
didn't
want
answer.
anything. Yeah, I've seen what you give or whatever like
Right.
that, and yeah, yeah,
But then the
true.
brother's boyfriend asked her. She goes, "So what happened?" She goes, "I made a decision." He goes, "Was it the right one?" And she kind of low key nods, but I don't know. It's like she didn't answer. And then we see the stuff with the anointing of the new power guy. So I'm like, are they trying to say that if she would have asked, she would have gotten him? Should we feel bad for her now for not doing that? But again, I think there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of things going on with the relationships in this movie, primarily the brother and sister and the boyfriend, and just there's a lot going on here. And I'll just stop because I can keep going. I have so many notes, and we don't have the time. But this is the movie I could have talked about for an hour. Really, that's how much I've taken from it. That's how good I think it is now.
Well, that's
It's
always
crazy.
good. And maybe if we
Yeah.
didn't, we should have maybe dedicated more time to that as opposed to the hour or two and whatever it was, 2 hours and whatever to or BS.
I know, right? That's just us.
I can't
What
even
can we
talk anymore.
do?
It's so late in the day, but it's not much later than I thought we'd be done, so it's not that bad.
True. True. But that's all. That's all we got. Summer Sausage series
Well, yeah,
is over.
complete. Well, we'll do our rankings next show so that we can actually dedicate
Yeah.
some time and not just crunch it now and be boring for
Right.
the next 5 minutes as we're trying to figure out the numbers. We'll just do it. I did a quick listing when we were talking about the last episode, but I didn't do the Frankenstein series, excuse me. So I want to have both ready. So we'll do it when we return with a BS show next, right? And then we'll kick back
Yeah.
into our the randomizer
Right.
randomizer
Right.
for the rest. We'll go from there.
And that's it. That's the last two links. We just eaten the last two links of
Yeah.
sausage. It's
Delish.
over. Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, what a way to finish, huh? Strong. Strong for
Yeah.
the last ones. Started off strong, kind of. Yeah. Bloodlines and the other one. And yeah, here we go. So, all right. Well, let's get out of
Perfect.
here. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you for everything. And Manchichi, you got anything there, Christ?
No.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Peace.